start? Everybody over here ready? Okay. I call this meeting of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners to order. It's September the 4th, 2025. I've asked our clerk, Mr. Todd, to lead our minds in prayer, and I've asked County Commissioner Kendrick Thomas to lead us in the flag. So if you'll silence your devices, we'll get started.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you just for another opportunity to get together and discuss the business of our county. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to serve. But we just ask that you continue to be with those that have lost loved ones. Just comfort them as only you can. Be with those that are sick and need of your touch. Lord, just be with us as we go through this meeting. Guide our thoughts and our actions. And Lord, we just ask that they be pleasing to you. We'll be with our first responders as they continue to protect us on each and every day. We thank you and praise you for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there any agenda changes?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
I have one, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add to my report a recommendation from the opioid attorney from the county to enter into a participation agreement, similar to what we did at the last meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
I need to correct my statement. I actually do have one, but it's been added to the agenda. It's under general, it's 6B, Florida Department of Commerce, but it's listed as an agenda change on the agenda.
okay. You said it was which one now? Which one did you say it was?
Yeah, under my attorney's report, Mr. Attorney Romano has recommended.
I heard yours, but Bobby?
6B, it's under general, 6B, Florida Department of Commerce.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, anything?
Nothing today, sir.
Okay.
Motion approved agenda with it noted change.
Second. Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Thomas and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the agenda with the noted changes. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Everyone have a chance to look at the consent agenda?
Yeah, I have a question on the consent agenda.
Okay.
On the disposition, for the, Heart Springs, for the Queen's Fee, did we get a technician to go out and to, give us a price to fix it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a washing machine?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think that's something we need to, make sure we do also for our vehicles that we have, because I was told that someone purchased a vehicle and they spent $150 on a spark plug and a coal pack, and they're driving it now for parts. So anytime we have vehicles, I want to see what the repair list is from a mechanic
Okay.
from now on. Also under fire and EMS, the ice machine that we have, that we spent $2,495. It says unrepairable. Did we get a technician to come out and to look at that?
We always have we have a gentleman that comes out and looks at all of our equipment and everything, and then once, on ice machines or even on we got the same company that looks at all of our washing machines, and then when it gets to a point, it costs more to repair it than to replace it.
So there again, on things like that says unrepairable, I want to see, what was wrong with it. That way, I'm making sure that we've done what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
Now, he's gonna part that washing machine out, is that, I mean, I read the note.
Yeah, what we do, like, there's parts you can use, like lids,
Right.
different things like that. Yeah, we'll keep that machine, and we don't just throw it away, but we'll use parts.
Is that the Speed Queen that was used at the campground or used for, the house that we have?
Campground.
Okay, the campground.
Yeah, it was fairly old too, yeah.
They usually, normal, 8 loads per week, normally they last about 25 years, but it being at the campground, it probably sell a lot more than 8 loads a week.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know how old that one is, but
2018.
it's probably 10+ years old.
And then everything else, like the tools that we're, removing, like, are we gonna give those like to the road department, or what are we gonna do with, like, what are we gonna do with all this stuff we're getting rid of? Like, light bars and all that, what are we gonna do with everything that we're getting rid of?
That was my question too.
Gamble Fire Rescue. We're gonna put most of this in the dumpster. There's a lot of this stuff that's literally been there, and the only reason we have kept it is because it was on inventory, and it just sits in the barn. There's a lot of old rotating light bars that are, we wouldn't even try to put them on a vehicle. I mean, I don't even know if they sell the parts for some of this stuff anymore.
So the multiple small tools, we can't at least scrap those out and get money for the,
I mean, if you want to scrap them for weight, I'm sure we could probably do something with that with them.
they're not, like a road department couldn't use those tools or
No,
anything?
these are like extrication style tools that are hydraulic driven, and we haven't even been servicing them since I've been here. I've been here almost 9 years. But they're obsolete. They don't even make them anymore. So all this stuff on the list, there's things that we found that we literally haven't thrown away because it had a blue sticker on it, and we have been kicking this can down the road for a little too long. We just
I
want
do
to
want to
clean
say that on this, we are doing our physical inventory, which we're required to do by Florida statute every year. And I have looked at these for the whole 10 years I've been here, we counted them, and sometimes they're hard to find, you know, sometimes you have, well, we gotta move it over here. So there's two things that you look at when you evaluate your assets. Are you still making money with them, supposedly if you're a profit, or are they useful to the county? The other thing is if they're obsolete, then they just become doorstop. Like, we had some 15-year-old laptops. They're not good for anything except for doorstop. So we went through and.
Well, these on here aren't 15 years old. These laptops listed on here are not 15 years old.
And ma'am, those are,
2019.
we bought those on a grant in 2019. Those are the rugged laptops we use.
Okay.
And all of them are now sitting in my office. We keep them on a shelf so we can inventory them.
Okay.
And the company wants $2,000 a piece just to evaluate to see if they're worth repair. I buy used rugged laptops from a refurbishing company for $1,100 all day long. It's not worth sending them off for $2,000. And now the new Windows update, these wouldn't be compatible anyway.
So, so all this stuff right here, there's really no value in it at all?
No, sir, and I mean, there's one of the items right now, I just saw it again today, if you go to the Trenton Med Station, there's a charger sitting on the wall that charges a battery for a monitor that we haven't had in over 10 years, but it's got a blue sticker, so nobody will throw it away. We know right where it's at, and we stick this stuff in a corner, and we dig it out once a year to say we've got it. But this stuff is just taking up space. Anything usable out of it, we've scrapped. Light bars, if we could have took two light bars apart and built one good one, we've scrapped it and done that with it. If it's on this list, it's just taking up space at this point.
What about the radios? Could those be donated to somebody that has that same system or?
Nobody has that system anymore. That come off of our old system. And we've asked around, anybody that was interested in something like that, we would have 100% given those up. You know, put it out to another department, but nobody else within 100 miles of us uses anything like that.
What about the infusion pumps? Can somebody else use those?
No, man.
Okay.
The batteries to replace on the infusion pumps cost more than the pumps themselves at this point.
And all the batteries are dead on all these that we're
Yeah,
getting rid of?
they're completely shot. We've already replaced these pumps. We have new infusion pumps on our trucks already.
Okay.
So all this is coming off of inventory, it won't be on there no more,
Correct.
and you're just
We're just basically cleaning it up, but I mean, there's,
Yeah, most of them are fully depreciated as well. So at that point, you know, we don't want to keep garbage around.
you know,
See, I got a barn at the house full of it, so.
Yeah.
well, not only that,
Just just because it's got a Gilchrist County tag on it, I don't want to spend time counting it. You guys want me to spend time counting it every year?
there's nothing on this list that I'm gonna come back to you in the budget year and say we need to replace it if we threw it away. Nothing on this list is being used or has been used in a very long time.
it just seems like a long list and a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
It is,
Well, but you know what the value of it is? Zero. It's
Yeah.
fully depreciated.
I understand.
So so that means we use our depreciation, but useful life is 5 to 10 years on most of the items. When you get to zero, what do you want to do with it? You know,
Well, I know,
I don't want the weeds growing around things on the road department.
that some of these items are technology, and technology changes to almost yearly. It changes, so like you said, Windows, it's just, everything you've got nowadays, you might as well go buy new because you can't upgrade it. It's twice the cost. You know,
And I don't want weeds growing around, you know, things at the road department either, but when we're getting rid of a truck, I want something from a mechanic that states that this is no longer, you know, this is what it would cost us to fix this. This is what's wrong with it.
We understand.
And this list is so long because we have not done this.
We
I don't
haven't
know.
done it in the whole 10 years that I've been.
Correct. So that's why it's a long list. This is,
We just keep going through the exercise of, okay, can you locate it where it wasn't last? Okay, let's go find it. Okay, we counted it. Then we sign off on it. We go through everything very. well.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Langford and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, just as a general note, the Northeast 30th design is a, final payment.
What was that, sir?
The, North Florida Professional Services Northeast 30th Street design, that is a final payment.
Okay. That's part of the motion.
On the consent agenda.
Right. Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, we're down to public participation. You have two opportunities, one at the starting of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting. So if you would like to address the board, we ask that you come up and state your name and for the record and share your thoughts with us.
Good afternoon, I'm Michael DeGeorge, I live off Fifth Avenue. I own 10870 and 10890, my folks live there as well. We have a very highly traveled road between Northwest Fifth Avenue and 112th. It's a shortcut from 129 to 138 where the dairy, Ellie Ray's, that area there. Sandy Point, excuse me, right over the bridge. We have a dumpster on our road that everyone in the county travels that same road with their trash, and we have a church on that road. The road gets graded about 4 times a year. I understand there's so many miles of road and so many graders. I've heard that and had this discussion. Mr. Rodney's been wonderful. I've been informed about a piece of equipment called a ripper for almost 2 years now, and my understanding is that's a solution for about 60 to 90 days and has to be done again. I don't know if we're in line for any funding or anything like that, but I have done a little research and I've heard about chip and seal, and I wanted to beg and plea if we can have people travel this road, look at this road, drive down this road. It was graded yesterday or the day before, and it's just as bad as it was a week ago. We're wasting time and money. Due to the fact that the dumpster is there with Mr. Leland, who's also wonderful, and people are driving from 129, going down 112th, rounding about to Fifth Avenue and going to the dump from all over the county, the church, I know I'm repeating myself, forgive me, and the shortcut itself, just cutting that corner off, I feel like this road qualified for any future funding or something where we can have a permanent solution there.
Did you say it only gets graded 4 times a year?
That's correct.
That's unacceptable, 4 times a year. So I hope that's incorrect.
I promise you that's correct. I have a neighbor that has nothing to do.
If it's a county maintained road that we normally grade 4 times a year is unacceptable. So I hope that's not correct, but
To be honest with you, if I complain enough, it comes out there, but I don't really want to complain. I don't want to point fingers. I know everyone is doing all they can to work with the funds and the equipment available. I get all that. But if there's grants or something that needs to be done, or if I need to collect people's experience, I mean, there's a big river community back there, Ira Bees and Cypress Shores. There's a lot of houses back there that all travel in front of our property in the church to go to that dump, and people cutting through to cut off that dairy
will
farm.
you tell me what road that is again? Because I'm going to contact Mr. Rodney he can pull a log for us to see how many times our grader has been on that road. What's that road number?
Northwest Fifth Avenue. I promise you, I've had a lot of,
I have it hard to believe that we've only graded, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, it's not true, but 4 times.
Yeah.
I would hope it's been graded more than 4
it
times.
hasn't, and to be honest with you, you can grade it every week, on Monday, and by Thursday, I've got the same problem. It's, you know, we're trying to vacuum a beach, it feels like. It's just, there needs to be, I realize we're not in a situation to asphalt but I feel like if we could chip and seal a road, if there's funding coming for that in a year, in a month, in 5 years, I just wanted to start making a little bit of constructive noise to see if there's something that can be done. Because it's miserable. You can't drink a cup of, you can't drive a car down there. I mean, the potholes are the size of pool roads all down that road.
Yeah, I talked to you last week.
Yes, sir.
I went down and rode it.
Yes, sir.
It does have quite a bit of lime rock
Yes,
up to
sir.
the church. And there is some severe potholes in it.
Yes,
I
sir.
agree with you 100%.
And they were there grading yesterday.
Yeah.
Ms. Sharon, and I promise you by the weekend, I'm gonna be, you know, my kidneys are gonna fall out my bottom, you know, it's that bad. It just, that road is traveled and people drive fast down that road because they're bringing their garbage or going to the church or cutting off that corner from 129 to 138.
I met with David and Rodney yesterday, and like
Yes, sir.
I said, Rodney told me that once they zip that road, rip it, it'll last about 4 to 5 months. They did agree that would be one of their projects when they start back ripping. It's
Good.
been so hot, they hadn't done any lately, but when they start back, that would be one of the roads, at least the first mile up to 12th, 112th or whatever it is there, or maybe more, but,
And then,
and also talked about when Anderson starts doing some milling there on 138, that maybe we could, talk with them about putting some milling up at least to the church that would go almost to your property right there. It would certainly help that washboard part right there, that pothole part. So
I just, if we can, and I just want to say this politely as possible, forego the maybes and maybe really try to come up with a long-term thing, because like you said, it'll last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But then it'll be another year and a half or 2 years, you know what I mean? We're just gonna be right in the same situation.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I think that's a good idea, seeing if we can use those millings
mhm.
and, like you said, put it up to the church at least.
Those aren't our millings.
Yeah, and
No.
that's,
No, but if we could if they would donate them.
Yeah,
To us.
that was the road that we planned to talk to them about.
Mhm.
And I have mentioned it to them. They haven't given me an answer back yet. But, they said as they got closer to the job and started milling, they would give me an answer. And I know what that's gonna be based on, is whether do they need them or not, because you mix some of your millings back with virgin asphalt when you make asphalt. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be the supply and demand.
there's
is what's
value in
gonna
knowing
happen.
now,
Yeah.
so it's not
But
something. that-
Anderson's really good.
Let them know it
about
goes to a church whenever you talk to them.
I have, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Again, if we can, I'm pushing for a long-term solution. I appreciate the short-term effort, I do. And I've been to one meeting here since I've lived here for 12 years, you know, but I really want to see if there's something that can be done permanently due to the fact there's 3 separate reasons this road is so highly traveled. It is very, you know,
We
thank you
appreciate,
very much.
we appreciate you coming.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. We'll move on to, constitutional officers. Anybody want to speak?
I'll say nope.
Okay, well, we'll go to the county administrator then. We do have a time certain at 5:15, but we got plenty of time.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. My agenda starts today on, page number 2, item number 6, general. And it's a reference to a donation of land to the school. I met with a school, actually sheriff was there, and our, Miss Gina was there, as well, and a few other people. As you know, and some of you may have already heard, or you may have experienced it, there's a lot of crowding at the schools with drop-offs. And there's a section of property up in Vail that actually runs over by the baseball field on the south side. It runs to the east and then heads back north and connects with 10th Street. And they're thinking about developing that into, helping with some of their traffic. It's roughly a 30-foot, easement. And they're asking if the county would give that strip of property to them. I would recommend that we do give it to them, as well. Actually, I don't know any of the details, but I think it was 2008 that the school gave it to the county. So just a matter of us giving it back to them, and I spoke with Mr. Lang, and he feels like we could probably do this, but just by simply using the parcel ID information and transferring it back.
Well, we transfer it back in accordance with the deed that they gave to us.
Okay.
That would be the legal description that we'd utilize. I don't know why they gave it to us, to be honest with you.
I don't either.
But we accept
I don't
it, and now it looks like they need it back. And of course, if they build a road there, if it's gonna be on their property, then that's on their property. But if it entails the town of Bell, they'd have to go before the Bell Town Council as far as any kind of road signage and that sort of thing.
Don't that go by Capital City Bank there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then go back towards,
Yes.
Bell
Yes,
Avenue?
Yes, according to the aerial, yeah, see up on the screen there?
Yeah,
That is the landfill road up on the top, Bell Avenue,
yeah,
and go down past the elementary school.
right,
And
right.
then hang a right to the south,
Mhm,
and it goes all the way down
mhm.
and to that subdivision just below it there.
That's
It
right.
doesn't line up directly, but it's right there. Yeah.
That's right.
Having experience taking a grandkid to school and the line, I would fully support us. And I think maybe hopefully the rest of us would support that, taking some of the burden off of that main 10th Street and all
It's terrible.
the.
It is
10th
bad.
Street's awful, about 45 minutes before church, before school gets out, and
Yeah.
or 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes after school is out, that road is almost impassable. I drive buses, and sometimes you get in a bus there and you can't get around to the bus loop to pick the kids up because the traffic's so backed up in there. So they really need to do something, and so I would fully support, going ahead and putting that road through also.
Do we need a motion or what?
Just need a motion.
Need a motion, and I'll prepare the deed for
Yeah,
it.
I'd make a motion, we donate that piece of property to the school board.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner, Darrell Smith and a second from Commissioner Bill Martin that we, donate the right of way, the property that the county owns back to the school board, detailed out on the map. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman,
Motion passed.
now that you gave them the property, I'm sure they want to build a road. They're working to do the clearing and grubbing and all, but they'd asked us if we could help with the lime rock. We did help in Trenton. It's estimated around 70 loads at this time is what it would be. My recommendation, and I did speak to the school about this as well, the rock, like if Trenton gets any rock from us or if Bell gets any, it's $100 a load. So what I would recommend doing is we'll help them once they get the total, and we just do it at $100 a load. That'll cover our time, delivery, grinding, digging, and what we have to pay for the rock as well. And I don't know if Ms. Gina wants to comment on that or not, but we did speak about that as well in a meeting that we spoke about too. So, but if the board would just don't mind, it should be somewhere around 70 loads. That could change 10, 15, 20 loads either
Yeah.
direction. But, if the, board is agreeing to that, what we'll do is, we'll start kind of preparing, based on our use. Of course, our use is gonna have to come first, but
Yeah.
we can start developing something raw.
Is there anywhere there we could stockpile it?
I don't think
Or-
they are, I don't know if they are right now. I would have to defer that to the school. I think we could at one time, but I don't know what the person who's gonna prepare a clear and grub, I wouldn't wanna go put anything in
Okay.
there right now. Once they start, then yes, we can be actually dumping it up and down the road. for them to
Okay, is that how we
stockpile.
did Trenton, just dumped it up and down the road?
They had a spot there.
Okay.
I think we put maybe 2 spots that we put it in, and then I think we did put some in the road as
Okay.
well. But, once they get this cleared, we could,
Work out.
I'm sure they got a spot, but once they get some clearing and grubbing, then we'll be happy to coordinate with, the school and the contractor on when we can bring that in.
Is this something y'all gonna do right away? I mean, pretty quick?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
He was trying not to come up here like that.
Tina Geiger, superintendent. So Mr. Spencer was planning to come today, but we had a bus driver go out, so he's driving the bus. That way he could answer some of those questions. But yes, so he's getting some prices. He's gotten 2 already as far as clearing it. And so we're hoping to get started right away, as soon as we can.
Are you gonna make it wider than what it already is?
That I don't,
Or
I'm
just
not-
resurface it?
I'm not sure if they're gonna widen it or not, because there was two different options when we met,
Mhm.
and I don't know if Mr. Schultz, remember, we talked about maybe doing a one-way in and coming back out, or going in one way and, out, so I'm not exactly sure what they're gonna do, but I know it will work, and it will take the traffic, it'll take hundreds of cars off of that. And in fact, somebody just sent me a picture yesterday, a couple of days ago, actually, of two cars were literally in the center lane, like blocking the entire road, so
Yeah.
it's definitely a safety,
The need is there for sure.
The
yeah.
road would have a gate on it, so it's not something kids can travel on the
There's
weekend.
already a gate there, yep,
Okay,
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna be a through for kids to, hey, it's Friday night, let's.
Let's go down
Oh,
to the
no,
road.
yeah, that's true.
Have a party.
There's a gate,
Whatever.
there's a gate right there by the track.
exactly, there's a gate there, and so it'll be locked during the day until morning or afternoon dismissal to open it. And so with our Office of Safe Schools, some of that funding, once it gets closer to the cafeteria, we'll pay for the fencing to change it where they kind of curve in, because already they go to the cafeteria first through fifth grade for drop off and pickup, and even with that, they're still on the road. So if we, redirect them to coming in that way, it'll make a huge difference.
Mhm.
And then we'll have the road closed during the day, except when it's
Yeah.
drop off. or
Sounds
dismissal.
good.
Good. Okay,
Okay, thank
Thank
you, we
you.
appreciate it.
thank you.
We'll need a motion to be able to, move forward with the Lime Rock at $100.
I move that we, sell the school board, loads of lime rock for $100 a load, is that what we agreed, and, up to.
Well, I don't-
wanted to list the
I would just
amount,
say
or
around 70 loads.
around 70
Cause
loads for
that could easily
$100.
go to, it may go to 100, it may go to 60, we just don't know.
A lot of sugar sand up there.
Right.
It'll probably be more than less. So I move that, we, sell the school, lime rock for $100 a load.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Thomas to, approve, selling the school board, lime rock for $100 a load to redo the road in Bell. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
All right, my next item is number B. This was the agenda change in the Florida Department of Commerce. We received this week from the Florida Department of Congress, a memorandum of understanding, an MOU. And actually, what they're asking is for all counties to become a primary county partner through this MOU process. It basically is what we've already been doing, working with the Florida Department of Commerce, but, they are pushing, along with the governor, is pushing that we actually enter into an MOU. It's no cost to us, but what we're feeling is that if we don't enter into this agreement, that if there is economic grants or certain grants that may come through the Florida, Commerce, that we may not be eligible for those grants, or based on we didn't partner with them. So we're just asking you to approve, the memorandum of understanding, for Florida Commerce. When they sent this to us, they sent it as Donna Kramer signing it, as the economic development, or, so we can ask her, we can approve it with her signing, or we can approve it with the chair signing. I'll leave that up to the board, how they'd like to do it.
Yeah, I'll look at it.
And Mr. Lang has reviewed it and agrees with the document.
Motion to approve the MOU with the Florida Department of Commerce.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the, MOU with Florida Commerce,
Who's gonna sign this?
whoever y'all want to.
We
I'm
can-
fine with Donna, I'm fine with
Okay.
you, it don't matter.
Donna, are you okay with that, Mr. Newton, if they approve it?
I mean, as a general rule, I think it's better for the chairman to sign agreements, but
It's either way. You can sign it. If we
Okay.
have a copy here tonight, you can sign it.
Okay,
I would just draw a line through her name,
yeah.
and we'll do it that way.
All right, Chair.
You
Okay?
wanna just say have the chairman sign it, then, Sharon?
Yeah, that's in my motion.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? I think it's a great idea that we partner up with them. I know that everybody requires an MOU nowadays, but It's a good partnership. There's a lot of things that come through the Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of things that come through the state as far as the future and the businesses wanting to move here and development and all kind of stuff. Some of the committees that I'm on that I go to, like in Ocala and places, about the future of Florida, about development and stuff like that. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, but, a lot of updates, a lot of good information. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
My next item is number 7, fire EMS. As you know, through appropriations, we received a grant to buy 2 fire apparatuses, one of those which y'all have already approved the purchase of. This is the second one. We received $975,000, or will be receiving $975,000. When we originally priced the apparatus, it was around $950,000. When they sent us an updated quote, the apparatus is at $1,043,585. We would apply the grant amount to that, so the county would be responsible for $68,585. I will tell you, right now, this is out, the approximate delivery date is 1,050 calendar days, which is roughly 30 months. But to get us in line, we need to go ahead and approve and.
What were the additional charges for $212,000?
There's a list in your packet. It's probably about 15, 16 pages or so.
And
Yeah.
fire rescues, in summary, that list is, things like the motor in there. They put instead of using the standard motor, they put an upgraded Cummins engine, a little more horsepower, higher torque transmission. This truck is very, very big. They're very speed limited, carries a lot of weight. They want it to be able to get up to whatever its maximum speed's gonna be efficiently without, dragging, trying to go up a hill or something like that. We've made some upgrades there. We made some upgrades to the tank and the way it holds the water, so we can hold more equipment on the truck.
How many gallons of water would it have?
This will have 2,500 gallons.
And that's a lot more than what we've got now.
Yeah, our biggest engine right now is 1,000 gallons,
And how many is this one?
2,500.
So,
So when we looked at all of our, history, with exception of one here recently, we've had 3 fires since I've been here in 9 years that we've used more than 5,000 gallons on. We already have a truck that this spec was modeled off of. We have a 2004 E1. This is the updated spec for that truck.
Is this 4-wheel drive?
No, well, it's, double axle, so you do have the tandem axle, but
So
it's
with-
not a front wheel drive.
With the weight on it, do you think it's gonna get stuck on our dirt roads?
Not on the dirt roads, but it doesn't leave the dirt road. $1 million fire truck, we can drive it through the woods. But these trucks are made for, just like ours now. We lay those lines, we may go up a driveway, but we have a way to pull a line off the truck where we don't have to drive this in all these tight spaces. And that's consistent with all the trucks that we have today. It is a heavy truck.
Big and as long as it is, you don't wanna pull that into a tight space.
Well, and this is what they call a custom cab. So we have, the engine 3, which is the longest truck that we have, is the old Spring Ridge engine. This is the same length and height and width of that truck with 1,500 more gallons of water. Some of the other changes, normally you pull the hoses off the top of the truck. This one, you pull them off the front bumper. We can run an tire emergency call off of this truck without ever having to have a fireman climb on top of the truck to get any equipment off. We might have to climb up top to get it back in service, but I don't like people rushing, climbing up on top of a 10-foot tall truck. That's where you get injured.
The response time, will it be less since it's such a big truck, or about the same that?
They're about the same. They're all governed through NFPA to run the same speed, but we put a bigger engine and a higher torque transmission to get to that speed faster. And again, when you pull out of, so we put it at the EOC and you pull out and you go up one of these hills, this is gonna climb that hill with ease. Those are some of the upgrades that account for that other money. We didn't add there's no luxury items on this truck whatsoever.
When's the last tanker like this we've bought? What year?
Prior to me getting here. So it would be the vacuum tanker that I believe they bought in 2014 or 15, 13.
Probably 13 or 14, and as far as a truck like this, would have been,
2006.
Yeah, thank you, I can remember the first one. Mr. Mills actually got the grant for the other truck that would be like this, so it would go back, and I think he retired in 2012.
That truck was built in 2006.
Is this coming out of your budget this year or next year?
No, ma'am, this will come out of an appropriations line item. We set that up for in a different account for capital purchase,
Okay,
and we won't pay anything on this for 30 months. But we just have to get the truck ordered now. We won't encumber, or we won't, sorry,
now when 30 months gets here, how we're gonna pay for it then?
we'll probably pay for it out of,
It's, currently we budgeted for it for next year,
Okay.
in our, the capital fund, but again, we're not gonna actually expend the dollars next
Okay,
year.
so that money will just keep rolling over?
Well, I don't know that we're actually gonna receive the dollars until we purchase it, are we?
But these are on reimbursement, so.
Yeah.
you
The,
don't
I'm
pay
talking about
for
the part we have to pay. Didn't you say we had to pay
it. No, you don't pay it until the truck's delivered.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
nothing is paid until the
So
truck's delivered.
when the truck's delivered, my question, where we're gonna get that $69,000?
I have to appropriate for it in that year,
In that budget,
so.
and we have about 3 years of budget to put some money away.
Can we start putting money away each year so we're not stuck with 69,000 and,
We'll love to.
okay,
And there's no issue with the legislature and their preparation holding that money until 2 or 3 years.
I believe we're already making waves now to ask for the extension.
Okay.
And we're not unique in this situation. These trucks take years to build. So anybody that was awarded a truck on appropriations is in the same boat we are.
This Senator Bradley, Representative Johnson, and the governor are the ones that helped us get the funds. And anytime we get a chance to thank them, we wanna, for that and other funds as well.
So the 68 would come out of capital improvements? It wouldn't come out of the MSTU or the car budget or anything like that?
You know, the capital improvement fund is funded through the general. But if we had $975,000, that'll go directly into that capital improvement fund and we'll offset that. So the difference would have covered either by what was left over in the 301 from other projects, or we would have to transfer it from the general.
so, but it's still, I think what he's asking is that 69,000 that we're responsible for,
Yes,
that will come out of,
capital improvement.
the fire, that will come out of fire and EMS, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Probably make
That's
possible, yes.
We also have the opportunity to apply for an AFD grant. AFD will help cover the match on certain grants. Now, even though this isn't a match, I would still apply for that grant and I have 3 years to get a successful award that we might not have to pay any of this. I wouldn't plan for the $68,000, but if I can apply for this grant each year, even if I'm not successful the first two, that third one, we might get it, give us plenty of time to work on it. But I would still try to plan the budget for this out of, the fire and EMS at some point.
Well, and I would totally agree with that. And the reason I say, to me, it's a good deal. You're getting $1 million truck, a $68,000 investment, if you wanna call it that. But if we can budget for it for years out, if we can start putting money aside, if we can apply for grants, anything that we can do to save a tax dollar and not have to dip into the capital projects or dip into the, fund balance or whatever, to do this, I'm not against the truck. I just, everybody keeps, thinking, why do you need a new truck? Why do you need a new truck? I know they outdate, I know they update and new technology. You're doubling your water, more than doubling your water. So there's a lot of advantages to it, but I want to be able to justify it at the same time. And $68,000 for $1 million truck is a good deal. Of course, it's going to be 3 years to get it. Hopefully we can find those funds, put them aside. When it comes time to pay for it, bam, here it is. We got it.
Yes, sir.
That-
Like I
that
said,
would
we
be
will,
fine.
that we always will continue to apply for grants to see if we can get that gap filled, even if they give us half of it, I'd be happy to take that.
Yeah.
And this right now, we already have we have a truck, but again, this is the new version of one of the trucks we already have. And this is 2004, it still works great in service, which is actually one of the ones we purchased from Tallahassee. So they used it for 20 years and now we have it and it's still, for Gilchrist County, this is a 30-year truck.
Right.
So this is, all the upgrades and everything were for longevity. There's no bells and whistles, the bells and whistles break.
I have a question for you right here. It's a little offbeat real quick. if we had, you know, finished the hotel and we have a fire down there, would we don't have a ladder truck, Dixie County, I'm sure don't have one, would we have to call Gainesville or somebody like that?
We don't need a ladder truck for that.
You don't think so?
No, sir, that is a concrete building, the only wood on it's on the roof.
Yeah, it would burn, it would.
There's a
concrete
standpipe
steel.
system through that. Those are what we call room and content fires.
Right.
Everybody thinks because you have a multi-story building, you need a ladder truck. Go to New York City, how tall is this building? They don't make a ladder that gets up, I mean, they don't make a ladder that gets over about 120 feet.
You shoot water up there, don't you?
No, they use a standpipe system and fire pumps and you fight it from the inside.
Okay.
The hotel has standpipes on either side.
Yeah.
I believe it's gonna eventually have to have a fire pump outside, but you have your water supply right there.
Yeah, we do, we got city water.
Any fire engine that we have should be capable of hooking to the water supply and then hooking into the building and pumping the water that you need up there. And we bring the hose with us and just connect on whatever floor we're fighting fire on.
Well, everybody thinks 5 stories, 6 stories, whatever, you know, how do you handle that, especially if you have a roof fire or something like that, on floor?
The good thing about that building is, you know, as well as I do, what that building's made out of.
Yeah,
That building's not gonna come down from just a general fire.
there's really nothing to burn.
No, sir. And even everything in the attic is protected by sprinklers as well too.
That's right. Yep.
So I don't see any need to have a ladder truck to fight that building.
Okay,
Just so you know, ladder trucks start at 2 million.
Yeah.
With a 4-year, and it's probably, I don't even wanna guess what it is, but I know we don't have the budget to do the maintenance that's required to keep a ladder truck in service.
well, I've been asked several times by several people, you know, about a ladder truck, and that's the reason, is it something we need to plan for, but you're saying, no, we don't, we don't even need to go down that
I don't
road.
think we have even the water resources to run a ladder truck, and you really wanna have a 4-person crew on a ladder truck. That's a lot of people, that's a lot of training, and that's a lot of, I don't think it's the need that we have. If we need one, I think Dixie County called for the, Flying Hawk. They brought a ladder truck from Gainesville just to squirt a bunch of water from the top because there's so much fire, but it was totally lost at that point. They were just trying to put fire out. I don't believe a ladder truck is gonna save us anything here for a long time.
Good. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve the purchase. Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thomas and a second from Commissioner Martin to, approve the purchase of the E1 apparatus proposal, I guess is what I'm calling it. Okay, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Just as a note as well, this was purchased off of state contract, Florida Sheriff's.
And Mr. Campbell, I really want you to follow those guidelines we were just talking about. I mean, really, and I know you will. I'm not saying you won't. It's just that, it'll help us out in what we try to do.
That's why I stopped by the other day, because I think they really need to get, and I don't know if they have or not, they need to get a life safety inspector in there fast. Because there's things that need to be done on that from my eyes, from the code, but I'm not your code administrator for that. I'm not your inspector for that. They need to get somebody in there that is,
Well, I appreciate your advice.
gets them from the start.
Okay,
Yes, sir. My next item is number 8 under community development. This is ordinance 202509. And as you know, we started our discussion last week about permitting of accessory buildings and valuing them. And we went back and we reviewed it. I sent an email with all the information out, I think about a week ago, August the 28th, to everyone to take a look at as well. And after reviewing it, and it was a good discussion last time, some points come up that we need to review. But what we would like to do, I spoke with staff and legal and others, and we'd like to address this maybe. There's 2 things I think we've been working on here. One is an accessory building, which is a whole barn or a little garage or something like that for somebody to park under. The other is maybe a porch on a home or something. I think we need to address these in 2 separate ordinances. So what I have here today is an ordinance for accessory buildings. We'll continue to work on the residential, but you got a little bit more to look at on residential, and that we need to do some research on, and some of that comes down to life safety and how you allow people to be able to add on to a residential home and still be safe. Ingress, egress windows and a lot of different things. So today, what I'd like to do, if the board agrees, is maybe we'll address, just strictly accessory buildings.
And you'll bring the other back?
And we'll bring the other one back. And
I would like to see this, because the ordinance, the Florida Building Code says, 1,000 square feet.
right.
I would like for number one to be 1,000 square feet on this ordinance also. My opinion. 'Cause if you
Yeah,
look
one
at
of the reasons we put it at 500 square feet, a lot of the buildings that you actually need to have engineering for, that we're trying to get around, is stuff that people are building more in a neighborhood, to park the cars under, to store some different things. And, we were, our concern is somebody building something that large in a more dense neighborhood and not building it properly and it blowing into somebody else's stuff or coming apart like, in that situation.
But if you
It
say if you
does
had
not-
more than so many acres or something, I mean,
It does
That is-
not, well, the code, you can add whatever you want, but that's not what the code's, the code.
well, the
doesn't
code, I mean,
speak.
the code, the Florida Building Code says 1,000, now we're going down to 500. I just don't know why we just don't stick with what the code says instead of restricting homeowners to do even less than what the code says. I mean, that's just, I don't know how y'all feel about it, but that's just my thought.
So, none of this will affect agriculture, right? From
No,
ag
it does
barn.
not. You can
Okay.
build a 100 by 400 or 500 feet, million feet long if you want to, as far as ag goes. We don't have any, this does in no way touches any ag regulation.
Yeah, I think the 500 is a big improvement over what we have now, because just like Mr. Anderson that came in and then built a lean-to, he had to get a permit and engineer and all kind of stuff. And this is a big, improvement, I think, and less bureaucracy for our homeowners. I understand what you're saying, Sharon. Maybe we try 500 and then see how that goes. I think there's potential, as Bobby, you mentioned, people building things and it's up to them. They can build whatever they want to. But in a neighborhood, we may get some issues, where somebody's building something or putting something out there that everybody else doesn't agree with, and maybe that's tough luck. I don't know, but I think there's potential for
I mean, you
that.
can hire somebody to do it, but you can't exceed $5,000. So it could be
Right.
1,000 square foot, but if you do it yourself, it can only be 500.
Yeah.
What if you meet in the middle and do 800 square feet? Would you agree with that?
I mean, I would rather go to 500 to start with, but that's up to the board, I think, everybody.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know. Everybody. So,
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple things here that I would address. Like labor costs, if I do it myself, I don't charge myself labor. And I know we were presented with a chart of how to figure that, but I mean, if inspector's riding by and he sees a project that's around $4,000 and he's got to stop and figure out the labor costs and all that, then that's just additional work and additional figuring and adding and receipts here and receipts there. Of course, if he has a contractor do it, the labor cost is gonna be in there. But if he does it himself, I mean, a farmer doesn't charge labor.
right.
I wouldn't charge myself labor. I wouldn't even figure labor. So I don't like the idea of the labor, and I agree with Sharon, 1,000 square feet I really like, and I've been up to Columbia County a couple times, I really just like the way they do it. And they said they had, the best thing they ever done. It really works well. They do things great. It works good for them, cuts down on their workload, all that kind of stuff. So I think theirs is just like one paragraph, basically saying that, any construction, addition, alteration, or repairs to any building, don't exceed $5,000 and then go do it.
Do they have square footage or?
Commissioner
I
Langford,
don't think they have any.
would you like a copy of the building code? Because I think the way Columbia County is doing it, may not be, I have some extras if anybody wants a copy.
I think we're
Um,
proposing something
they-
more flexible.
Well, see, it says that you, number A, it says it can't exceed 1,000 square feet. That's if you are doing it yourself. B says then it can't, if you're hiring somebody to do it, it can't exceed $5,000. And that's why I was wanting to go with the 1,000 square feet, just like the code says, instead of the, instead of the, no, you have to have both. See how the building code reads A?
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do, except instead of, that's what's being proposed as number one, except we're changing the 1,000, they wanna go down to 500. And then, number two, it matches then B, how the code reads. Does anybody else want a copy of the code?
Yeah.
Here you go. So, so that is if you
No, I-
hire somebody, the way the code says, you can't exceed 5,000 within a 12-month period. But if you do it yourself, the property owner, upon his or her own property, it can't, exceed 1,000 square feet.
Right.
So,
And it doesn't mention anything about labor, does it?
no, because it goes by, not by, labor, it goes by square feet. The code does if the property owner does it.
But you realize
But-
those are optional, Sharon.
Yes, sir.
It's up to you to put them in.
Right, I know that,
Those
I'm
are
just,
amounts not to
yeah.
exceed.
Mhm.
I think another issue that came up about the 1,000 thing was that none of this applies if the Florida Building Code applies. And if somebody was gonna build something 1,000 square feet, they might build a bedroom on that's 900 square feet and go under their exemption. And they might close in windows or life safety things, and there was no way to inspect that. And if you kept the footage down a little bit, then they'd have to get a building permit if it was above that. I think that's the
But-
issue.
Yes, sir, but right now, we're not talking about adding on the house. That's something Mr. Crosby said he would bring back later.
That's right.
This is only.
That's where that number came
Yeah.
from, though, when they were talking
Right.
about doing it.
This is accessory building.
Right, so I would like to see that 500, then if y'all don't agree on 1,000, at least go up to 800. That's my,
I agree on the
You
1,000.
can do that.
Florida statute, look,
okay. Well,
you would be within the law to do it.
okay, with 1,000, okay?
Not to exceed.
And in Columbia County, I've got it here too. They don't have any square footage. They just go with the, value.
Yeah, but, right.
Which seems more restrictive, actually, the 5. I mean, we're being more flexible with the two options. I think.
I'm gonna make a motion to, pass this and go with the 1,000 square feet instead of 500.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second? That's what Florida Building Code said.
Would you like a copy of it?
Okay.
Yes, sir, it's number, if you look at number, A, it says, addition, but we're not talking about addition today because that's a whole nother ballgame adding on to homes. Repairs by the property owner upon his or her own property, provided any addition not to exceed 1,000 square feet, but we're not talking about addition today on homes.
We are talking about additions.
Not on
To
home.
a home.
Right, that's
I
not,
mean, you
not
could have a
home.
pre-existing.
Right.
What about power? Would there still be a
Power,
power?
you gotta have inspection for power.
And there still be a power limitation on the size?
Yes.
Service?
That will not change. We're not discussing power. That will still be, 60 amp now, well, 60 amp if the building's on vacant property, but if you have a home on the property, then you can get 200 amps in that also.
Yeah.
Number 3, where did that come from? Is that something we've always done, or is that in building code? I don't-
It's really part of number 1, but we just wanted to explain it out more. So if somebody is looking at this, they know that it'll include a prefab accessory. They know it'll include, any type of storage building or a carport.
But wouldn't that just be struck out, and wouldn't that go under number 2? It can't exceed $5,000?
Well, you can strike it because it can fall under 1 or 2.
That's what I'm saying, so I don't think you need it on number 3 like that.
Yeah, it's just what we're trying to do is hand the paper to somebody and then they don't think we're trying to reinterpret it when we try to,
So the way it would work is, I think you're proposing they would apply a no cost of application.
Correct.
So that
We hadn't
we're,
got that part yet.
they would build a 20 by 20 or 30 by 30, whatever size we end up with. And if later they come and enclose it, and at some point, there might be a code issue, right? And so that's what you were saying with Mr. Lane.
That's exactly what I said.
You get bigger, you got
Future
that.
use could cause a, could
Yeah.
cause a code violation.
1,000 square feet's a pretty good sized building. I mean, it's a.
Most homes
Well-
are 15 to 17.
Well,
That's
what about
I'm saying.
800
That's,
square foot?
With 3/4 above.
Okay.
So if you've got a 1,500 or 1,600 square foot house, you're talking about something half as big or more, bigger than your house. If they're building a building like that, I wanna make sure it's been built right, especially if I live next door to them and a hurricane's coming through. That was my only thing is 1,000 square foot building is a pretty big building.
Well, I think my motion died, so,
Yeah, haven't had a second.
yeah.
Died for lack of a second.
What about, would y'all go in favor of 800 square feet?
$750.
Okay. 750?
70.
Do I hear 600?
Well, I'm just thinking, I'm
Okay.
trying to think of the numbers there, but
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd go 800 square feet.
I make a motion to delete number 3, because I don't think we need that in there, and go on number 1, 800 square feet.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Sheridan and a second by Commissioner Martin to strike out 3, which is any prefab accessory storage of car park not exceeding 500 square feet. And then strike out 500 square feet on number 1 and make it 800.
So before we do this, Mr. Crosby, because that would, if we strike out number 3, that would be covered under 1 or 2, you're saying?
It's already covered, yes.
Okay.
We were just trying to explain it out a little bit more.
Alright.
But one of the things before y'all vote, we needed to look at is a no fee application. And we're gonna take everybody on the honor system. They're gonna say they're gonna build it this size or smaller, or it's gonna cost less than this. This application will create, it doesn't have to come back to board, but we're gonna go ahead and we'll list the setbacks on it, so they can't say they didn't know what the setbacks were. They'll be responsible to make sure they build it out of the setbacks. If somebody reports them and they didn't, well, then we'll have to make them take it down and move it, because we wouldn't be responsible for that, but it would be a no fee application. And the other thing that this will do is somebody calls into the office or they wanna report
Complaints.
somebody building an unpermitted building. Well, instead of us having to take staff and send staff out there, we can look that application up based on the address or parcel number. And right then, we can say, no, that building is being built legally.
And it's not in the flood zone either, because
Right,
that,
well, a flood zone is totally different. None of
they
this applies
can't
on
do that.
flood zone.
Yeah, that's gonna apply to flood.
Yeah. So-
Well, I think if you're gonna do that, you really need to get a word out as best as possible, Facebook or paper, or whatever you wanna do, to let people know, call before you build, because right now, a lot of people still don't know. They'll go build something, they don't know they need a permit. I mean, they just don't know that they need to do. Matter of fact, they don't even know about the setbacks. And I think that's part of the problems now is people does stuff and not knowing that they need to, and then they get caught and they have to go, cause like Mr. Anderson, I'm sure he didn't know that he had what he needed to do. He just went out there and done it. And now he's in a pickle over it. So any way we can educate the public and say, look, before you build, it's kind of like the phone company says, call before you dig. Maybe call before you build. See what you need to do, see what your setbacks are, come in and fill out the application or whatever you have to do, because people do stuff and ask questions later.
because they may fill out the application, and then we tell them it's in the flood zone, they can't do it then.
That's right.
So,
Or the setbacks, or the
Yeah.
zoning.
right.
That's
I
an
mean, there's quite a few things to deal with.
Yeah, thank you for working on this,
Wait,
Mr.
wait,
Crosby.
Now, this applies to accessory buildings.
Right, not homes.
We're gonna do, homes.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll still have to come back.
Well, no, it's in the.
No, we haven't voted.
It wasn't.
Okay. Is there, I personally, I'd still like to go with 1,000 feet because that's Florida statute, but I'll settle for 800 again.
Yeah, and, I know Mr. Crosby put a lot of work into, coming up with this, and so did Mr. Lang, and I appreciate both of y'all doing this, Mr. Lang and Mr. Crosby.
Now, is this still gonna include labor costs?
It has nothing about labor. It says if you hire somebody to do it, look at number 2. If you hire somebody, it doesn't talk anything about square feet.
Yeah,
It
but-
says cannot exceed $5,000, in a 12-month period.
Yeah, but we're talking about ordinance number 2025-09.
Yep, we're about to say something
Okay, and
different.
if you go down, on where it says permits, if you go down to section, 18-1.
Wait,
You
18,
got A, you got B, and you got C.
A,
Yep. C says labor costs shall be included irrespective of whether the construction, addition, alteration, or repair is performed by a licensed professional or VIO.
well, we need to get rid of that then, don't we? Because it clarifies in number 2, any construction, addition, oh wait, hold on. Oh my goodness. I see what you're saying. Okay, so it needs to say, you know how state law reads? State law reads, or not state law, the building code reads, or repairs by a non-homeowner. So I think on number 2, it needs to say, or repairs to an accessory building by a non-homeowner. To like, so that, if you hire somebody.
We can do it that way, or either we can go down to C, and all you have to do is strike or via owner.
Yeah.
And it just says by a licensed professional.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, a licensed professional is gonna charge you labor costs
And-
anyway.
and
I
let
don't know
me-
any of them that do it for.
Well, it can't exceed $5,000 though.
Before y'all vote on this, let me just clear up something, okay? Y'all can vote for us to amend this and bring it back at the next meeting. We have an ordinance number and all assigned, but it's gotta be advertised 10 days before.
That's correct.
So we're just trying to get the correct language. So once today,
Okay.
y'all approve the language, we'll have this back at our next September meeting with proper advertising,
That's right.
okay?
That's probably the right way to do it.
But I think that number 2 needs to clarify that it's gonna be done by a non-homeowner because,
We can add that. What we'll
because
do is.
people are gonna think they can go out and build something that not exceed when the building code says something different. The building code says by a
I'm gonna tell you
owner.
truthfully, I think we might have just missed typing that in there.
okay,
I'm just gonna go back, what we'll do is, the way B is in the statute.
yes, sir,
We'll just put it word for word
Okay.
in the ordinance.
okay.
But essentially, you're gonna say labor by non-owners included, but by an owner, it's not included. All right? Yeah, and Bobby's right, it needs to go in the newspaper for 10 days before you pass it, so
So if,
formalize it, you're gonna pass it now, but we're gonna bring it back a clean version.
so just so I can make sure right here, I know y'all haven't voted yet, but this is the motions.
Uh-huh.
We would be striking 500, changing it to 800.
Correct,
We will be removing number 3.
correct.
Okay, and then on, C of 18-1, we will strike or via owner.
Yes, sir,
And then for, number 2, I'm going back up, I'm sorry, we're gonna change that language and just make the small correction, which would mirror the, language in the statute,
yes, sir.
okay?
Because, make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So if it's a prefab accessory or, storage or carport, it cannot exceed $5,000 if I buy it. If I'm buying it from somebody,
For somebody who's doing it for you.
or somebody's doing it for me.
Right.
Like if I buy it from somebody,
If you go and you just buy one of these prefab buildings off the side of the road and they bring it and deliver it can't exceed 500 square feet. But
oh, hold on then, but.
But you're not gonna see them hauling many 500 square feet prefab buildings.
Most of them are free.
Okay, but to
So do we need to
to
leave,
your point, Miss Sherry,
do we need to leave that then?
to your point, Miss Sharon, if they're building it on site, then if it's professional, then it's $5,000. If it's a,
So do we need to leave
An
number
owner
3
be
is
able-
my question.
the what, prefab?
Yeah,
I'd probably leave it.
Yeah,
All
I
it does is give an extra definition of
yeah,
what you're
I
trying to
probably
do.
think so, yeah. But should we mirror the 800 instead of the 500? So,
Yeah, you'd want, you
Okay.
can mirror that number.
okay, all right.
Wait, let's say this. No, leave it, just move it to 800. I don't think you're gonna find anybody that can haul
I don't either, but just
that.
so
large
it's
down the
all
road.
same language, 800.
That way it all matches.
Yes, sir. All right.
On section C,
So screw back in.
It is. Have to be-
on section C, I think you're gonna have to change the language in that a little bit. more than just removing the RV owner. Cause I don't think it's gonna read correct.
Removing what now?
I
Or
don't see
owner,
why we
okay.
don't just take C out if we're gonna change two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take it out.
Cause you really don't need it. It's already explained in it's already explained in 1 and 2.
I would tend to agree with that.
I think it's redundant. You agree with that, dude?
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna strike, then C.
See, yeah, I agree with that.
And do we need to explain though, because I know that the code says by a non-homeowner not to exceed 5,000. So
That
do
would
we
be
need,
number 2, cause it will say that because.
I know, but do we need to say a owner that is licensed? Do we need to add that part in or not?
No,
Or just leave it,
like
just
that.
leave it?
Well,
Okay,
I-
non-owner.
I don't think this code requires them to be licensed, it's just if it's not the owner of the property,
Somebody else
and they
build
gotta
it
do
for
a
them.
dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll correct all that and bring it back at the next meeting?
Yes.
And then we pass that, or advertise that, to pass the
Well,
ordinance?
no, you're gonna tell us what to do tonight, and we're gonna get it in the newspaper before the next meeting.
If you could
Yeah.
give us and I don't know if the motion needs to be changed or corrected, but if we can have a motion that what we're going to do is change it to, the, owner of the property could build up to 800 square feet.
And, yeah,
And if you're having someone build it, and then the
The
language
non-owner.
of number 2, we will mirror the,
Statute or the code? The code.
the
we'll
code.
mirror the Florida Building Code. We'll change number 3 to 800 and we'll strike C.
Okay.
So if you just wanna maybe make a general motion that we,
Wait, there's already a motion on the table.
Yeah, we got one now, we
Um,
can vote no and kill it if we.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I amend the motion including those things that he just
I think it
stated?
might be better to vote no or just kill it. and-
All right, just vote no.
Carry in.
Yeah.
the motion that's on the floor is to, amend, actually strike out 3 and change to 500 square feet to 800 square feet. So that's the motion and a second. So we'll vote on that. And if you don't want it, just vote against it. We'll make a new motion and do what Bobby's requested.
Okay.
So all in favor of the motion on the floor, say aye. All opposed?
No.
Same sign? No? Okay, motion failed. Okay, now I need a new motion to get the right language and, add what we need to add and take out what we need to take out.
You want me to repeat?
Repeat it one more time.
Repeat it.
All right, what we will be doing, in the ordinance 2025-09, we will be making the changes or amending it as presented today.
Okay.
And section 18-1, number 1 will be changed to not to exceed 800 square feet. Number 2 will be changed to mirror the language in Florida Building Code 102.2.5, 1B. Number 3 will be changed to not exceed 800 square feet. And then letter C will be stricken.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion.
oh,
Oh.
oh. What about an application? You
Uh,
want that in this? That an application will be
We can
required?
do it at the next, when we get
Okay.
this fixed to do the application.
Okay, okay.
Can you send us that, well, you'll be in our, once you get the application, typed up and everything, send it to us so we can look at it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve, ordinance number, are we approving the ordinance then
Yeah.
today? 25
Candidate.
dash 09,
The language of the.
the language with the, corrections that Mr. Crosby had mentioned.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Sharon Langford, a second by Commissioner Bill Martin to approve ordinance, 2025, the language 09, with the, changes that, the county administrator had made. And we'll go ahead and go out for advertisement. Okay?
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman, that is all of my report. I think we may have had a 5 o'clock time certain, but I do want to say one quick thing. Thank you for us getting through that. I know it's something that people have been really needing, but I think, appreciate it. I'll be just as glad to get that off my desk as y'all will be glad to get it off of your table as
And-
well. So
And once we get this completely done and finished, then you'll start working on the other part.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So we had a tentative budget hearing at 5:15. It's,
5 o'clock.
5:11.
Oh, 5 o'clock.
We got a 5 o'clock.
Where do you see that at?
That's SUP, SP 2025-02. It's the Santa Fe Local Storage, Supply and Storage.
Wait a minute. I missed the problem here.
5 o'clock under time certain, 5 o'clock.
Oh, I see it on the next page. Okay. We have a time certain at 5 o'clock for SUP SP 2025-02 Santa Fe Local Supply and Storage. Okay? Mr. Duke, you gonna handle that?
Actually, Justin Tabor for North Florida Professionals is gonna handle it, but I'm gonna give you some ground rules here that we utilize. It comes out of our Land Development Code. This is a quasi judicial hearing because it's site specific. At the conclusion of the hearing, the board will render a decision on the requested action. The board decision must be based upon substantial competent evidence presented. Mere opinion is not substantial competent evidence. The chair, commission members, party, or staff can raise an objection to irrelevant and immaterial testimony or evidence, or testimony that is unduly cumulative or repetitious of previously presented testimony or evidence. At this time, as I always ask you, if any board members had any ex parte or outside contact with the applicant or members of the public on this matter before them, you need to disclose that on the record now to remove any presumption of prejudice.
I haven't had any. I just received the document from the county because I'm a neighbor over there. That's the only thing. I haven't had any contact with them.
As was required on the notice board.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, if any board member has a conflict of interest in the matter, you need to disclose that conflict and file what's called a memorandum form 8B with the clerk. One final thing that I want to remind the board of, that section 12.0902 of the Land Development Code states that the applicant shall have the burden of proving by preponderance of the evidence that the proposal satisfies the applicable requirements and standards of your Land Development Code. Now, our order of proceedings, staff will present the application, followed by questions from the board. The applicant will then make their presentation, if any, followed by questions from the board. There can be rebuttal testimony by staff or applicant, followed by public input, evidence, and comment. There will then be deliberation by the board and a vote. You can approve the matter, deny the matter, or approve the matter with conditions. With that being said, are there any questions? Hearing none, I will turn this over to staff member Justin Tabor with North Florida Professionals, and I'll go ahead and swear Mr. Tabor in if that's okay. If you'll raise your right hand, repeat after me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Our witness has been duly sworn, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the dais. My name is Justin Tabor. As Mr. Lang mentioned, I'm with North Florida Professional Services. I'm an AFCP certified planner with 18 years of professional planning experience, primarily at the local level. I do have a copy of my resume with me this evening that I would like to give to the clerk just to enter into the record to support my experience.
Can everyone hear at this junction? Can you hear in the back? Okay. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The item that you're considering this evening is application number SUP 2025-02. The application is for a special use permit submitted by Demir Engineering, LLC, on behalf of Paul Schmeltz, who's the property owner. The application proposes the construction of an 1,800 square foot retail and office building, a 1,350 square foot maintenance building, and 4 unenclosed canopies for the storage of boats and recreational vehicles, with a total of 89 spaces. The subject property is zoned agricultural 5, A5. The property also does have a neighborhood commercial overlay district that was applied to the property in 2006 through a petition that was submitted by a previous property owner. To give us some information about the neighborhood commercial overlay district, the code states that it is intended to provide small-scale retail service establishments which serve the convenience needs of the adjacent areas within the designated urban development areas and the rural areas of the county. The district is also intended to be utilized in areas where the county's population and need warrants the location of small retail service establishments to serve the local surrounding neighborhood in which the use is intended to serve. The applicant did submit a site plan concurrent with the special use permit application, but during review has requested that that be tabled for now and that you just consider the special use permit at tonight's meeting. So before going further into the application, I wanted to provide you some background of our coordination as your planning consultant with your staff and with the applicant. A copy of all the letters and email correspondence that I referenced are included within your packet as an exhibit to the report that we prepared for you. So starting on June 4th, 2025, a letter was sent to the applicant providing notice that it was staff's opinion that the application was not consistent with section 3.05.01A, 3.05.02A, 3.05.03B, or 7.05.01 of the Land Development Code. This determination was based upon the fact that the proposed use did not serve the convenience needs of the adjacent areas as required by section 3.05.01A, nor was the proposed use identified in section 3.05.03B. Following that letter being sent on June 4th, 2025, the county administrator, county attorney, and our staff met with the agent and the owner to discuss potential solutions. At the conclusion of that meeting, it was agreed by all parties that the plans would be amended or updated to include a retail component that would be directly related to nature-based tourism and recreation, such as a bait and tackle shop, with associated items that would serve visitors and residents of the area. We all agreed that that would be more consistent with the requirements of the code and would work to further that. So on June 11th, the applicant emailed a revised proposal to the county administration and NFPS staff. That proposal, at that time, or I'm sorry, the initial proposal was for a 1,500 square foot office building and the storage area for recreational vehicles and boats. The revised proposal, which is what you're considering this evening, had a 1,800 square foot building, 1,350 square foot maintenance building, and then the recreational vehicle and boat storage remained unchanged. On June 16th, NFPS staff met with the county administrator and the county attorney to discuss the revisions. We were in agreement that the change from 1,500 to 1,800 square feet, which is only represents 300 square feet of area, would not be sufficient to fulfill the requirements of the code. We also did request a floor plan to substantiate the area that would be represented as a retail area, which has not been provided at this point. On June 18th, the applicant was notified by email that the revisions we did not feel met the requirements of the code, even though it did more closely align with it, but did not serve the needs of the immediate area. On June 20th, 2025, we received a response from the owner's agent requesting a hearing before the board, and we reiterated that we did not believe that it met the requirements of the code. So on June 25th, 2025, the applicant's agent resubmitted both materials for the special use permit and for the site plan. Those application materials were reviewed and comments were issued in the letter on June 26th, 2025. The owner's agent had requested clarification regarding those comments, which we provided back on the same date. There were revisions requested to the site plan, which remain unchanged from our requests, which I'll review further in my presentation. So in relation to this comprehensive plan, the application is found to be inconsistent with the comprehensive plan, specifically policy I.2.2 of the future land use elements. This is the policy that establishes the neighborhood commercial overlay district. And I will run through briefly the language that's in this policy. It states the neighborhood commercial district provides small-scale retail establishments which serve the convenience needs of the adjacent areas within the designated urban development areas and the rural areas of the county. Neighborhood commercial activities are not shown on the future land use map. Rather, these commercial activities should be accommodated through the county as market forces determine the need and according to the following criteria. Number one, neighborhood commercial activities are intended to be oriented and compatible with the surrounding area to be served. Such activities shall include retail commercial outlets for the sale of food, hardware, or drugs, service establishments such as barber or beauty shops, shoe repair shops, and self-service laundries or dry cleaners, and commercial establishments that are directly related to nature-based tourism and recreation. In addition, other compatible uses in accordance with county land development code may be allowed as a special use permit and subject to an intensity of 0.25 floor area ratio. Commercial establishments which are directly related to nature-based tourism and recreation, as listed above, are limited to those uses found within the county's land development code. Number two,
Neighborhood commercial activities shall be located within 1/4 mile of an intersection of an arterial with a collector road or the intersection of two collector roads. Number 3, sale, display, and preparation and storage shall be conducted completely within an enclosed building, and no more than 20% of the floor area shall be devoted to storage. And number 4, the neighborhood commercial uses shall be limited to an intensity of 0.25 floor area ratio. So as stated, the neighborhood commercial district is intended to provide small-scale retail services which are serving the convenience needs of the area. Sub-policy 1 does note that that is a requirement, and that the activities shall include retail, commercial for sale of food, hardware, drugs, service establishments, that we've listed types of uses. As it relates to the definition of nature-based tourism and recreation uses, your land development code in section 7.05.01 states that these include fishing and hunting equipment sales and rental, excluding boats, motors, and trailers, camping equipment and sales and rental, horse stables, gift and souvenir shops, scuba gear sales and rental, and the sale and rental of canoes, kayaks, inner tubes, bicycles, rollerblades, and similar nature-based sales and rentals of non-motorized equipment. So this definition does not include the proposed use of storage of recreational vehicles or boats. Therefore, we find that it's not consistent with policy I.2.2 of the comprehensive plan. The applicant contends that the use would be a local retail establishment with accessory service or outdoor storage. The local retail establishment use would be allowed by policy I.2.2. However, the policy does not provide for self-service storage as a principal or accessory use. One other thing to note is that policy I.2.2, sub-policy 3, requires that the storage occur within an enclosed building, which is not proposed in this instance. Similarly, as it relates to your land development code, section 3.05 establishes the regulations for the neighborhood commercial overlay district. Much of the standards are very similar to what is in your comprehensive plan, requiring that it serve the convenience needs of the adjacent community or tourism-based activities as defined in the code. So again, the closest use that would be comparable to what is proposed by the application is commercial establishments that are directly related to nature-based tourism and recreation, not exceeding 5,000 square feet of floor area. But as mentioned, that use as defined in section 7.05.01 does not include the storage of recreational vehicles or boats. And furthermore, in that regard, section 3.05.05C prohibits any uses that are not specifically provisionally or reasonably implied to be permitted within the neighborhood commercial overlay district. Moving on to the standards of approval for special use permits, they are established in section 12.03.03C of the Land Development Code. The first standard relates to consistency with the city's comprehensive plan. As we noted, it is our professional opinion that the application is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. The second standard relates to the proposed use being compatible and harmonious with the uses and structures surrounding the property. The property is located near residential areas. Based upon this, our recommendation or our request was that the applicant include a 6-foot fence along the perimeter of the storage area. At this point in time, that has not been provided. The third standard relates to public infrastructure. In this case, there is no adverse impacts that would be represented in public facilities. And the fourth and final standard is that the development will have screening and buffers of such dimension, type, and surface to improve compatibility and harmony with adjacent properties. And as previously noted, we did request a fence, which at this point has not been provided with the site plan. So our recommendation to the board this evening is based on this presentation and as further described within the evaluation and findings report included within your packet, that the special use permit be denied by the board, serving as the planning commission due to the inconsistency with the comprehensive plan, the development code, and other regulations. and I am happy to answer any questions you may have. The applicant's agent is present as well.
So what would it take for him to do what he wants to do? It'd have to be rezoned, or would it have to be changed somehow, a floor plan change? What would have to occur?
So for the retail component, we need more certainty as to whether or not that would be primarily retail or office. The purpose of asking for the floor plan was because the initial building was 1,500 square feet and only increased by 300 square feet. So presuming that 1,500 square feet is needed for an office, the only thing that we have to go on at this time is that 300 square feet would be for retail. So we requested that they give us a floor plan so that we can substantiate whether or not that's changed from your initial proposal. The RV boat and storage really within the neighborhood commercial overlay, because the uses are specifically stated, that would probably be a code change to allow that particular type of use within that district.
So were they able to do that out on 26? Is it not a neighborhood commercial or whatever you just said?
So that was by special use permit in,
There's a-
18 district.
And, okay, so
not
this is
the-
a different type of district you're talking
Correct,
about?
this has
Okay.
the neighborhood commercial overlay, which is more specific.
Okay. Okay, so I was just wondering, because we approved, okay, I
Right.
see.
Right.
I think, Mr. Hurley had that rezoned, with
It's
intention to
the-
put in
for
a
the
store
store.
there at one time.
Mhm.
And that,
All stuff.
yeah, and then that didn't work out, so that's the reason it was on that way.
That's right. He's the one that established the
Yeah.
neighborhood commercial
Right.
area there. I think he was gonna build a strip mall and a convenience store,
Yeah.
some things like
Right,
that.
and that
when he
went into
came
place
in.
in 2006.
Okay.
But y'all have actually amended that, commercial neighborhood category. I'll just mention that to you. If you'll recall, with the Dollar General down at,
That's
47 and 340, to expand the size of the building that can
Yeah.
be located there and the uses that could be allowed there. But it's still the same category. The requirements are in that category as to what can be done and what cannot be done in a neighborhood commercial.
And you basically sent a correspondence asking for reply to these items that are not consistent with the code and.
Yes, the ones that are primarily outstanding, as it relates to, it relates more so to the site plan with the fencing, so that's not necessarily directly pertinent to what you all are considering this evening. But the question really for you this evening is whether or not the boat and RV storage is a use that's allowed within the neighborhood commercial overlay. So that's kind of principle one before you really worry about the, screening at this point in time.
Because if that is, I'll just add this, if you don't mind. If the SUP is approved, then they would come back with a site plan that you had control to determine the fencing and the layout and the entrance, that sort of thing.
Correct.
So it's kind of a yes or no on whether it's even allowed.
Okay,
Hear from the applicant.
I'd like to hear from,
Yes, sir. And I apologize, I forgot my water, so I'm gonna try and get through here a little parched, but,
you did good,
any questions, let me know.
okay. Just state your name for the record, sir.
In fact, could I have me and the owner please swear in?
Is he gonna testify?
Yes, he will.
The owner?
definitely, the owner,
Okay.
Mr.
He will testify. Okay, you raise your right hand?
Thornbridge.
Yes, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, the applicant and his representative have been duly sworn.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. My name is Christopher Gamir. I'm the professional engineer that Mr. Snopes, the property owner, hired to do this plan. And I feel I need to go over the story of the history. It was sort of shown on, I think it was on page 3 of the staff report, the story of the history there. So one of the major contentions in the staff report, it just goes out and says, this just is not allowed. But that's not what we were told initially. We were told that that storage couldn't be the main use. You had to provide a retail building.
Who told you this?
We're with Mr. Crosby, the city attorney, and Mr. Tabor. We're at this meeting to discuss it. That was the in-person meeting we had. And then we said, okay, let's go and take a step back. We took the main building, and I can hand you showing that, where it was planned to really support the RV storage. And we said, okay, let's take the maintenance portion out and put that in the back building. That's for like, you know, lawn mowing equipment, all the maintenance stuff that you need for to run a facility of that nature. And then let's make the front building separate. Let's make that 1,800 square feet. Yes, there'll still be an office in there for when people come, they want to rent the space, they want to check up on their pay, make a payment, they want to sign a contract, whatever it is, you'll have that for there. Then also those employees will be the ones running the big and tackle shop. And so in our opinion, we felt like we doubled the size of the building and we tried an 1,800 square foot building versus 300. We have no issue at all with screening. That's not an issue at all. Matter of fact, please make that a condition of your approval today if you decide to go in that direction. But I think we kind of met what the intent of this was. And I'm going to bring Mr. Schmeltz up to talk about how he's going to operate the facility, because I think it's really interesting to understand the seasonal nature of the river and the river's use, and how it's trying to bring people to the area for recreational purposes, and how this whole development kind of works together. And so we feel that we were going to have a staff recommendation of approval, and we all just came down to the square foot of the building. That's what my understanding was with the timeline they told you. And then Friday night, this report comes out saying that the whole thing is just bad. And that's how it looks like when you read the report. So it went from just a dispute about how big the building needs to be, and there's nothing in the code that says that. It's all a feeling. And so we decided to come to you as a board to get your direction about how big is big enough. And then we can go back to site plan review and actually lay out the stuff and engineer everything from that standpoint. But we're talking about use. What is allowed on this, and you as the board can make that decision. So at this time, I'm going to ask for the owner, Mr. Paul Schmeltz, to come up and talk about this facility and how he's local and how he plans to run this in his retirement.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Schmeltz. I started this, I'm just retired. I've been a Gilchrist County resident for 30 years. I grew up in High Springs, and I've run these rivers. I'm here looking at your sign up here with the river and the fishing and the scooter tire there. And, I was going to open a storage, and they said, well, I need to do some retail. So they bought up, bait and tackle. I said, well, that's a great idea. I love fishing. I fish my whole life. I have guys come down to the 47 Bridge when I've got down there with my kids. And they're there with their little kid, and they got some grubs or worms, and they're not catching anything. So say, here, take this little gold hook, take this sinker, and put this piece of bread. Put your little piece of bread on there and drop it down. You'll catch a little brim. So they catch the brim. Next thing you know, they got 4 or 5. Their kid come back to me. They're just so tickled pink that I showed them how to fish. So I want to give that information to everybody. What better retirement than sit there and talk fishing? Of course, I don't have to lie, to tell everybody the truth. But in any event, this is going to be it's Santa Fe, the name is kind of misleading. It's not Santa Fe Supply, it's Santa Fe Bait and Storage. The bait shop's not just going to have bait. We're going to have basic scuba gear, not tanks or anything like that, but fins, snorkels, masks that everybody uses. We're going to have camping supplies. Everybody forgets their can opener. They forget their little can of propane to light their stove up. So we're going to have that stuff. And on top of that, while I was in the meeting with the attorney and the attorney here and Jay, they were telling me that we no longer allow Anderson canoe rentals to rent out, or anybody to rent anything out at your boat ramp any longer. So that just opened a whole nother issue, that I'm going to put a full barn out there. My daughter's worked at Jenny Springs. She works at Itchy Pittman Springs. She knows everything you know about renting anything there is to rent. I'm going to put kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards, but that's not going to happen right away because I've got a large investment in this, and I'm not somebody that has deep pockets that just go out and get more money. So it kind of hit me a little off that, when I told them I want to put this building, well, you need to build a bigger building. And man, I just don't have that kind of money to do. I'm going to put a lot of money out. I mean, this is all my money I'm putting out on the money I saved through my whole life. So basically, this is going to be what I'm looking at right there. People will play on the river. Maybe later on I'll be able to carry ammunition. People will come hunt. They won't hunt. They want some ammo. I'll have the ammo. I'm sure all you fishermen know there is not a bait store anywhere in Gilchrist County. You cannot buy a shiner unless you go all the way to Hawthorne. That's the only place to buy a shiner. They used to have a bait shop in Fort White where you used to get shiners. They no longer have that.
I think the Fort White Feed sells minnows right now, but that's.
Do they sell minnows now? Okay, but it's kind of all eliminated. So there's really that and the knowledge of fishing the Santa Fe River. A lot of people come here and the river's not like fishing a pond or a lake, it's just totally different type of fishing. So that's knowledge I can pass on to people. And, you know, as far as the, storage not, helping the community, I don't understand that whatsoever. You know, I have a big boat. First thing I'm gonna do when I build that storage is I've got roof overs, the whole building, the whole storage facility is roof overs. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my boat underneath that roof instead of letting it, cause I don't know how it does it, but my boat can be parked 10 miles from a tree, but it'll fill up with weeds. You know, and not just boats, you know, I keep hearing RVs, well, what about campers? Well, these boats and campers, you know, some of them are gonna be local, but some of them are gonna be people from Gainesville. And the reason they're putting their boats and campers there is because they wanna come to Gilchrist County and spend their money and their time in Gilchrist County. In Gilchrist County, I don't know if you guys realize this, we have nobody that plays on the river like they do in, Columbia County and Alachua County. All the canoe and paddleboard and rental places are in Columbia County and they're in Alachua County. There is none in Gilchrist County. You know, I'd like to see some of our ramps improved a little bit to where I could put somebody in right there at 47, which is right there by the property, and let them go up to Second Street up there. You know, I don't know how that ramp looks. Last time I looked at it, it was pretty darn bad. You know, but if we had something like that, that would be a nice little run. And now we have those people in our community, and they're not just spending money at my store; they're spending money at everybody else's store. They have to find a place to stay when they stay here. They're going out camping somewhere. So that's just going to bring people to our community, and it's going to show them what we do our whole life. You know, every one of us. You know, I have kids. You know, when we work Saturdays out mowing the yard and everything, we get done mowing the yard. We all go down to 47 Bridge and go swimming and play in the river for the rest of the day. So I see my facility facilitating a lot of recreational activity in this community. And not only, you know, they say, why storage? Well, it's a seasonal business. You know, baiting, tackle, and your rentals are all seasonal. And all it takes is one bad season that you're out of business. But now if I've got something to income coming in when the season gets slow, I can maintain that business. I can keep 4 employees full time. Rental season comes out, you know, we're talking 20 employees. You know, and that's going to be seasonal, but you know, as time goes on, I could probably even get more than that because there is no competition in Gilchrist County. So, I mean, I'm not just creating, income for Gilchrist County, I'm creating jobs for Gilchrist County. And that's really important because there is no work here in Gilchrist County. I just retired. I'd do state work. I worked, as a matter of fact, I just skipped Bear's Hamburgers right there. You know where that fellow was in front of Bear's? I was the one that went over there and fixed it. So I've worked on every state road in Gilchrist, Levy, and Dixie County. I've worked on all these roads, maintained these roads, and ditches and ponds. So, I mean, I know this area. I live this area. I've worked this area. And, really what I'm asking for is, you know, my retirement. This is what I work for. This is what I'm trying to do. And it's an income that I will have for the rest of my life and my kids' life. You know, it's something that will continue to go. But, any questions you guys have for me, I'll be more than welcome to answer.
I'll be able to see your store from my house.
Yeah, well, you were talking about Hurley's when they actually asked me to purchase it back then when they had the strip mall. And I actually ended up buying their father's grader because he had just passed away. So I still have that grader to this day and I still use it. But, it's a wonderful spot. You know, I want to bring it to Gilchrist County. Everybody says, well, you can take them to Columbia, you take it to Rhode Island, you can take it to High Springs and put them in there and let them get out there. I don't want that. If I take them there, now they're going to get the money that we're going to lose. Everybody forgets about Gilchrist County. I'm not forgetting. I've been here 30 years in the same place. I own property all over Gilchrist County, and I'm not going to forget Gilchrist County. We're going to make sure that we get a piece of this pie, and not Columbia and Alachua only.
I know you're talking about doing rentals, like with,
rental. But
was that in this application, the rental part?
when we spoke, they said, you know, it'd be great if you would, you know, do a rent bait store. I said, man, that's a great idea. I'd love to do
So
that.
is it in here? That's my question
The
about,
building, no.
Yes, Madam Chair, that's the part of the use that we did, the retail with associated rentals and stuff, that's the classification that we went underneath. And then we justified it saying that boat storage, RV storage would be an accessory use to that. And then we had the buy-in from staff. All it came down to was square footages. So let's talk square footages. We're happy to do streaming around the storage, no problem there. So it really just comes down to square footages. And then yet we have this.
Can I say a couple of things here? I think Mr. Gamore is in his opinion, stating things that in my estimation, I never said. I think that during our staff meeting, we specifically stated that it doesn't pigeonhole into the nature, into the neighborhood commercial category,
Yeah.
boat storage. If you build a store and sell fishing and hunting equipment and camping
That's
equipment
what I was thinking.
and gifts and souvenir shops and scuba stuff, that's great. Nobody said you could have an open storage area for boats and RVs out there. Now, in your mind, you might have taken that away from the meeting, but that's certainly not in my mind, and I'll defer to Chris, to Justin Tabor or Bobby Crosby as to what they thought as well, but I just feel like it's necessary for me to speak up, because if I gave you that impression, that's certainly not what I intended to do, because we were trying to give you a component that could be utilized on that site under the neighborhood commercial category, and it didn't include boat storage and RV storage.
I completely
I
understand.
think the problem is our LDRs does not state for a neighborhood commercial overlay district. It states that, it doesn't state you can't have boat storages and RV storages. Now, it states that in the ag, A2, I believe, is that correct, Mr. Lang?
By a special use permit.
By a
that's right.
special use permit, you can. But that out there where you're talking about, it is a neighborhood commercial overlay district. And right now with our LDRs, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, it says, it doesn't allow that. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah, you're correct. We'll defer to our planner if you want to come back up. I don't want to testify. I just want to advise you.
Can I speak with
What
Mr.
I
Lang?
heard from one and what I heard from the other didn't sound like the same piece of property. That's what I was,
Yeah,
I mean, what he's saying sounds great, but then the other's saying, no, we can't have it there because they're not having this, I'm really wondering which one is it? And that's what we're trying to get to.
I think if you look at one of, because we got a comment letter, one of the comments was, if you provide this screening. Right. So if it wasn't even allowed, why would they even offer the option to provide screening? And that's why we're confused. Maybe we're just as confused as everyone here, because we thought it came down to square footage.
may I speak?
Yes.
Correct, and he stated that, that it was, the storage was gone. That's not what I heard from you. What I heard from you and Justin Bose was that if you add this anything recreational to it, that you can do the storage on it. You didn't say just do this and not do the storage. That was not what I heard you guys say. That's my recollection. And then on top of that, just, you said, well, do the screening on the fence. That basically states, reiterates what you said.
Well, under our code, anytime you have a commercial activity that's going to address a residential area, you're required to put in landscape buffering. So that's
Oh,
the
that's,
screening.
that's,
That's the,
that's no problem.
no,
That's
no,
fine.
I'm trying to answer your
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
That's the reason that you're talking about the fencing or the screening. Because it's residential right across the street from it.
Specifically stated for the storage facility.
We'll let our planner speak, and Mr. Crosby was at the meeting as well.
But in any event, the reason the storage is there is to maintain those through the off season. One bad season, I'm done.
Right.
I'm out of business. I lose all my money.
But
Comment 4B.
And, I'm, like I said, this is retirement. I'm not gonna, take a chance on an if and a what. I want a guarantee, and I can justify putting that stuff there by having a storage facility there, because then I can maintain it all year round. Without a storage facility, I can't maintain it. There's just, I can maintain it, but, I'll probably be down to 2 employees, maybe 1 employee through the off season, where I could keep 4 if I had a storage facility there, and I can maintain the monetary and, what I need to.
well, with all due respect, in my opinion, it just looks like we're trying to pigeonhole a use into an area that it's not allowed. It'd be much like saying, I'm gonna put a gas station in a residential
Yeah, but
area.
does not the storage, also coincide with, recreational? Since you're having campers, you have boats parked there that people.
It's not specifically listed in the categories that are allowed.
It's not specifically what?
Listed in the categories that are allowed. Outdoor storage is not one of the things that is allowed. I think I read those to you.
So that's why we're here to try to get.
Could they rezone that?
Pardon me?
Could they rezone that, and would that solve the problem if they went through zoning and rezone that piece of
No,
property?
you'd have to, yeah, they could rezone, they could take the neighborhood commercial designation away. You
Well, see,
could do away
that
with it.
thing is part of,
and then-
it's away from the neighborhood now. It's no longer part of the neighborhood. Ever since they put it commercial, it's not really, it has that neighborhood's name, but it's no longer made for residential homes any longer. It's made for commercial use.
And Madam Chair, I think what you're saying is there a solution to this?
That's what, that's what.
That's the question.
Well, you thought we were asking that question as well, so we're happy to hear it.
Yeah, if whatever solution is, I'm willing to work for it, you know, there's something.
I don't know if I need to get the planner to answer this or Mr. Lang, but is that something
Well, the
that you
planner's
could
the
do?
appropriate party, but I can't stand it, so I'll answer it.
Thank you.
You can designate and take that overlay district away by proper ordinance that you passed to remove it from there. It was established by Mr. Hurley at the time. Board agreed to that. Take it back off, and then the underlying zoning would be what had to be followed to try to get what they're trying to do in that category.
So what they're trying to do, could they do it on, then would it be A2 or what would that piece be then?
Let's let our plan.
Yeah,
speak.
I'm-
So the current zoning is A5, is the base district with the overlay, commercial overlay. So, you know, as Mr. Lang had mentioned, it would be possible for them to submit a request to remove the commercial overlay. I would have to confirm, I know A2 permits, the RV and boat storage. A5 off the top of my head, I'm not certain. I could double check that while we're here.
Tell them why though. What is an A5? It requires 40.
Yes, so right, so this is a non-conforming lot, so the lot is 5 acres in size. The minimum size for A5 is 40 acres, so it's meant to be in more rural areas.
It's how many?
40 acres, so it's a non-conforming lot. It's a legal lot because it was platted and established prior to your 40-acre requirement, but anything going forward would have to be 40 acres in A5. And I want to just, if I could jump back to some of the confusion on the screening and the comments. The request came in, I believe it was June 24th, to move this forward to hearing before you all for the special use permit. Then on the 25th, we received both applications back. So our understanding was that they were wanting us to review both. If you submit both to us, presumably that's what we're doing. So that's why comments were issued on the 26th. I believe Mr. Demir is mentioning about the screening, and that was, they weren't clear on why that comment was being made. The comment was being made because the plans were submitted for review, so that was the intention of us continuing on with that, not just tabling it if they wanted us to move forward, so.
How did it get
What-
zoned A5? Mr. Hurley did that?
No,
That would have been in place at least since 2006, when your code was adopted.
So
93, I think.
what is it zoned out there on 26? What's it zoned on 26 again where they have, gonna build that boat storage out there?
A2.
So can they rezone it to A2?
No, it's A5.
Right,
That's
there
what we're
is,
saying, Mr. Smith.
So
It's-
can they rezone it for A2?
if we could get maybe the zoning map, if you're able to scroll.
Based on the information I saw, I don't believe, is there A2 adjacent to it?
I believe there is some A2 adjacent to the, back up a little bit there. Right there. The colors are a little tough to make out. To the south and west and north is all A5. It's that lighter shade of green. The brighter shade of green is A2. So across 47, and then a little bit to the south, but not contiguous, you have A2.
I don't, I kind of would like to hear from the public before I go anybody hear from the public before we talk, you know?
Have we received anything from the public
Did
related
anybody
to
hear?
comments?
Is there anybody here that wants to speak? Oh, there's somebody back here that wants to speak
Yeah, the
on it.
west says A2, and the east is A2 and A5, and then the south is A5, and the north is A5.
Maybe we do a minor text amendment to the overlay that allows storage of an accessory use, but I'm looking for those solutions.
I'd just kind of like to make one comment before the public speaks. We did have a meeting, when we spoke about this, and I want to clear this up, to kind of feel like our conversation that we had has been attacked a little. We had a lot of conversation there today. I can see how we got confused a little bit or not confused. But the suggestions that we made in that meeting were to try to help get this to a point it could have, not to deny it. So I don't want it to sound like we said as staff and purposely just didn't want this or wanted to deny it. And I think that's kind of what's been portrayed a little bit. But, you know, we tried to make suggestions that would help be able to make this a viable presentation. And you know, one of the big things is we did talk about, you know, I remember talking about actually even about the name. RV boat storage and type stuff, and we talked about, you know, some of that type of thing, rebranding or something. But, you know, one of the things is in your neighborhood commercial, it does not allow for the boat storage. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm just saying it doesn't allow for it. And if y'all remember, we did a lot of work on this neighborhood commercial, just so we could do some additional developing because it was so old. That doesn't mean additional work can't be done to this, you know, or whatever, but so that it does fit within our rules, our regulations, our guidelines, then, you know, that's kind of the direction we need. Do you want us to work on, is this something we want to try to move forward with and staff try to figure out how we can do it? I don't know all this part. I leave this up to the legal and to the professionals. You got A2 across the road, so now maybe that's not spot zone. Maybe that's a possibility. Or we can go back to neighborhood commercial and try to make it work. But I think what staff is trying to tell you here today, and if I'm wrong, y'all staff correct me, is that the storage and all does not fit into the neighborhood commercial LDR guidelines, whatever you want to call them. Doesn't mean that something can't happen to make it part of the guidelines. But as of for today, we're presenting based on our current regulations. So that's what our recommendation has to be on, our current regulations. And that's what I want to say. I don't want anybody to think that we can't. We're actually working with Mr. Paul on some other things too. And we're working hard to try to, yeah, you know, we're trying to help him with some others. So it's not, you know, I don't want it to sound like we're trying to hold somebody back, but what we've got to do, you know, when we present this to you guys and we ask North Florida to do it, they've got to follow our guidelines. Those are the guidelines y'all created. We look a lot of times for every loophole that we might can find to make something work that we can bring to y'all. But we couldn't find that loophole on here. So that's why we're here today, and that's why we're at the point we're at now. If I would suggest, yes, listen to the public that lives out in that area, if any of them are here, and then y'all need to make a choice or direction on how y'all want to move forward. Whether you want to just deny it, and I'm not suggesting that.
Table it too, couldn't we?
You want us to go back and try to review and make suggestions on how to change the code or how to rezone? You know, we just need guidance. We just need direction. That's what we need.
So we're reading right now, he can build his little,
He can build his bait and tackle.
build his store and everything, but he can't have to.
Correct. Based on
So,
what the LDR says.
so he needs to-
That's our opinion. That's our
Correct.
staff's
That would
opinion.
be, retail use that would be serving needs of local community or recreational use.
And you know, we are big on property rights, but at the same time, we have to be sure we regulate certain things, because if not, basically we'll have a junkyard all through the county because we didn't have any regulations. But, you know, listen to, I would, again, like.
I like
Ms.
listen to
Blank
the
here,
public first and then we can make
then
our
y'all
mind.
can direct us. There's sort of basically three options here that I see. There may be some more, but at this point, there's kind of three ways
We could approve tonight or table.
I'm still confused on how that 1 5-acre tract got to be A5, because if you see the one behind it, there's 4 more right there. They're all A2. Matter of fact, they just built a brand new house. Not the lot joining it, but the next lot over has a brand new house on it. They're working on it right now. There's another house built on that lot, and there's another house built on the next lot. And there's somebody living between that piece of property and that, ag field down there that Mr. J.B. Osteen's son owns. There's somebody living on that 5 acres there, and there's somebody living on the other. So that whole section right there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 5-acre tracts. They're all A2. How did that one get to be A5?
So the 5 lots that are south of County Road 138 are platted, all part of a platted subdivision.
That's right.
That occurred prior to the current 40-acre requirement. presumably the other two lots to the south of those are in a similar position that they were, divided or came into existence before the 40-acre rule. So it would be that they're, just non-conforming lots. And if they're legal non-conforming lots, meaning they were established before that 40-acre requirement and they can continue, they're still eligible for permitting and all of that. The dividing line is a little difficult to see with the colors here, but the ones that you were referring to are A5, and then across the street, you can see, and to the south, it's kind of a brighter green. That is the A2 zoning. So the one that's a little bit more washed out, kind of grayish green is the A5, and then the brighter green that you see is A2.
Yeah, I see that, but like I said, I'm still confused on how that corner got to be A5 when all that is part of unless that one particular lot was not part of that platted subdivision. My property's right across the street. If you jump, the red area, which is the one we're talking about, if you jump 2 lots over, my 5 acres is right there across on one, it butts up with 138.
Your house.
Yeah, so all that through there is a platted subdivision. I just don't know how that one lot don't fit in.
Well, it is all A5, but I think what you're referring to, those lots that are there were all part of the subdivision prior to the current acreage
So
requirement.
if they change it to A2, you're saying they still can't do what they want to do?
If it were A2, it would be permitted by special use permit.
Okay, like
And
we
if-
did out there.
I would need to confirm A5 may also allow that by special use permit. I need to confirm that. In that case, if it was permitted by special use permit, then we would be in the situation that Mr. Lang mentioned earlier about going through some kind of procedure to remove the overlay, and then it would just be subject to your.
So can we hear from the public?
That's what I'd like to do, is hear from the public, and then we can address what we want to talk about.
And just one last point, we're here because the applicant requested that.
Yeah.
We're, of course, willing to work and try and come to a resolution that meets your code, and meets their needs too. So, I'm not in the business of saying no. If there's a solution, we're gonna find it, so.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody from the public like to speak? We'll ask you to come up, state your name for the record.
Hello, I am Brandon Trinkus. I actually live on the northeast 33rd Way, the corner next to that, I think you guys said it was A5, the agricultural lot. So that's where my property currently is. I do want one clarifying question. So when you guys are saying storage and RV and things, is it like the aluminum siding, like storage units, or is it just an overhead with storage for RV and boats? Because when I saw something like, if I'm not mistaken, it said like 80 something,
So it's gonna be a rooftop and then the RVs are parked underneath it, so it'd be open.
okay, so it's not like a storage unit.
No, only RVs.
For the record, you need to identify yourself, Mr. Demore, for our recording, so we know who's talking.
I'm sorry, my name's Chris Demir, I'm the agent of the applicant, and I was giving you a picture of the site plan.
Thank you.
That's what it's gonna look like.
Understood, gotcha. So this right here is the retail for,
Oh, no, this is stormwater pond?
okay, and then,
That's the retail way over this location.
okay, and then that's that. Okay, understood. I wanted to make sure on that. Okay, cool. Cool, yeah, if it's a bait and tackle, in my opinion, I have no issues with that. My only thing is I love going out there and seeing the turkeys and the wildlife, so my only thing is just make sure that it doesn't, impact that much. But besides that, I'm not,
They would have to provide a buffer also if we was to approve it.
I'm sorry, what?
A buffer, they would have to put a buffer around it if we was to approve this.
Oh, okay, understood. Yep,
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, sir, can you repeat your name again for the record?
yeah, it's, Brandon and then Trinkus. T-R-I-N-K, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Okay.
And
I'm-
seeing there's not a lot of opposition to it. I'd like to see what we can do to work with the gentleman to,
You want to
get the
take,
zoning the way it needs to be, for them to be able to put this in.
you want to make a motion to table it?
Well,
Yes, we did not.
well, we have to,
Oh,
I think
we
we're gonna have to deny it right now and then let them work on a solution.
Well, if we deny it though, don't we require them to have to wait so many months?
That's right.
That's why,
We can opt to
That-
draw the application.
that's what I was thinking, we need to table this tonight and not act on it.
They'll have to wait a year to come back.
Yeah, I
Like
want,
that
it-
idea.
Please do not deny us.
I'm-
That will be
Yeah.
if you will make that motion.
Yep.
I will make the motion that we table this, at this time and would direct, our staff to, and our planner or whatever, to come up with a viable solution for them to be able to, move a step forward on this project he'd like to do. I see no real problem with bait and storage, and, I mean, I see no problem with a bait shop and a retail thing. I think that would be a great area to do it, as long as the storage area is done properly. I don't see it as being an eyesore in the community. I see something that, maybe people can keep their boats and RVs under, instead of putting it under the oak tree in their backyard. So, if there's a way to move forward with this, I would like the staff to see if there's something we can do to move forward with this, so they can put their.
I'll second to table
Well, wait a
this.
minute.
I have a question, please.
What we're gonna have to do though, we don't table it. We're gonna need to continue this out for a period of 60 days and don't make a decision tonight.
Okay.
And we'll come back within that 60-day period with a scheduled time with some
So we're not
suggestions
tabling it, we are
Continuing it. for
Continue the
60
hearing.
days.
continuing.
for 60 days.
For 60 days.
That's correct.
I move to continue the hearing for 60 days.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Martin to, continue the hearing for another 60 days. And I have a second from Commissioner Sharon Langford. I'll open it up for discussion.
But I have one question for David.
Yes,
So
sir.
David, Justin just mentioned that, we changed the A2 and you get a special use permit, but he said we can also do it on A5.
No, no. He said he would have to go back and check his A5. He wasn't sure.
We'll figure out those details. Okay, I was just saying, so to try to save us from changing all the way to A2 zone and rezone. If we can do it. on-
And that might be a possibility.
Okay, that's my only question, thank you.
We'll meet with them following your direction this evening and figure out, like we said, some solution, but that might be a viable consider.
What I don't want to see is your staff spending thousands of dollars to try to fix this if there's a easier solution
Right.
Right,
that we can come up with, like removing the neighborhood commercial overlay or something.
Yeah.
That might be an easier way.
Yeah.
Because the rezoning is gonna take time and dollars and effort to do it, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and comp plan would have to be probably changed, or maybe not the comp plan, but at least the zoning category would have to be.
We could go ahead and start it, and we can't with us table it, and see if they can start it stored
No,
and everything.
no,
and-
No, you can't.
because you may ultimately turn it down, so you wouldn't want him to spend any money
Okay.
trying to do that.
Mr. Paul, I like your, plan there. I like your idea. A bait and tackle shop would be excellent, especially if you can get shiners, because there's.
Yeah, so, the best way to get shiners, you go down to the spring run, you get sprinkled potato chips. Roll them up, throw them, and before they hit them like prawn, you throw your net, you got 200.
Well, we have a lot of we have a lot of fishermen in our neighborhood, and like you said, you just have to go to Hawthorne to get them. And, yeah, and, but they worked at Icknick Bass Fest. But anyway, and your retail store there would be fantastic for the community, I think, especially if you, cater to the tourism like you're talking about. But there's no place to buy. I mean, we can get worms and stuff like that, if they have them. But, Fort White sells a few, and the Marathon down there sells a little bit. But, yeah, I really like it. I really like your plan, so I'm all in favor of making it work somehow.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, board, for listening.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue the hearing for 60 days. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thank you. Thank y'all. We're gonna take about a 3-minute break.
Thank you.
A tentative budget hearing at
Thank
five
you, guys.
15. We're a little bit late, so, we'll get started on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So first of all, just going to go over the brief procedure for the trim process. The trim table started on July 1st, when the property appraiser certified the taxable value. Trim notices were mailed with the proposed millage on August 22nd. So the,
I got one.
I did as well. Statute states that taxing authorities must advertise hearings within 15 days of adopting the tentative millage and budget. You must hold the final hearing 2 to 5 days after the advertisement appears in the newspaper, and we'll accomplish that at the September 15th meeting. Today, we are here to discuss the tentative millage rate and tentative budget. First item we have is Resolution 2025-21. This is a resolution of the Bolton County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for Gilchrist County for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. States whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Gilchrist County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the Board of County Commissioners as $1,496,223,331. The fiscal year 2025-2026 operating millage rate is 8.5 mils, which is more than the rollback rate of 7.8566 mils by 8.189%. The fiscal year 2025-2026 aggregate operating millage rate is 9.4091 mils, which is more than the aggregate rollback rate of 8.7797 mils by 7.17%. This includes the principal authority, which is the general fund, and the dependent MSTU. So I need a motion to approve the millage rate for next year. We do need to allow for public comment, and this does have to be approved by roll call.
Motion approved, resolution 2025-21.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution 2025-21, the millage rate.
And I don't know, just so the people out in the audience will know, I don't know if you said this or not, but our actual trim notice said 8.7.
That is correct.
Did you say that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So your trim notice that you received and that I received and everybody received, it says 8.7, but what we're proposing tonight is the 8.5, which is lower than, which your bill would be lower than what, your trim notice says.
Yeah, Todd, can you briefly talk about how we got to this point? Because there's lots of budget workshops and, you know, the original proposal versus what we ended up with and the
Sure.
department's cutting back and.
Yeah, so we completed 4 budget workshops to get us to this point. We started out with a deficit of around $1.2 million. And we, after making cuts and changes, we came to a deficit of around $250,000, which the board has approved to utilize fund balance to cover.
So when you talk about deficit though, we're, the county property taxes pay a certain percentage, a third maybe.
Correct.
of
Well,
our budget.
probably more like 45%.
Okay, the budget, and we get state support.
Correct.
Okay, and so that's where you come up with a deficit, that terminology, really not, a deficit is, I guess comparing last year's budget to this year's budget, is it, we're less?
Our budget, total budget this year is a little bit less than it was last year.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct.
And then also something else, make sure everybody understands, the MSTU, that is for your, EMS. On your, trim notice that we received, it says 1, and what we're proposing tonight is the 9.4091.
0.9026, I believe.
Okay,
And that,
It's
we'll
not
actually approve that in just a second.
Oh, okay, I
0.9.
thought that's what we're doing right now. So
Mhm.
that, never mind, that has nothing to do with this. I was just reading that about the MSTU.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was looking at number 2 and it said MSTU.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody from the public would like to speak before we vote on this resolution? Just state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Bruce D. I go by Dusty Markham. We moved here about, 20 months ago from way north of here, Lake City. And, you know, it's not just understanding, you're actually dropping the millage from the 8.7 to 8.5.
Yes,
That's correct.
Okay, that's, of course, I know the school and all that's a whole different entity than you got.
Yes, sir, it is.
Of course, I live in Riverwalk and Fanning Springs, you know, I don't know how they can come up with all their monies they're proposing, but, I mean, I'm just gonna throw out an example here. I mean, I picked up another $12,000 in, portability, be it my whole tax bill is going up by $600. You know, so I mean, that's up to $3,600 a year, and that doesn't even count garbage. So I'm just saying, I know you don't have any authority over the school board and those different things, but it just kind of gets higher and higher and higher, you know, so, just kind of want to throw that out there. I mean, it's actually just $100 being short of double what I pay in Columbia County for the same house and a small farm. Of course, the house was on an acre and it was all set apart. It's just a lot of money, it seems like to me, and I don't know what all we're getting for services out there. But anyway, I'm glad to know you're dropping it though. That's a good deal.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Thank
Mr.
you.
Markham, are you going to the Fannin Springs, council
I sure
meeting?
am, sir. Yes, sir.
There you
I mean,
go.
that's $350, $57 increase.
That's a good question you had. What am I getting for this increase?
Yeah, 'cause we don't get anything. Fanning Springs that I know of. A high water bill and a high sewer bill, that's what we get.
And-
That's out of our jurisdiction,
And
so I
then-
can say that.
Sir, is your home right now is homesteaded in Riverwalk?
Yeah.
So then there's that homestead, exemption law. So if we explain that real quick? Where it
Yeah,
can increase?
sure. So with a homesteaded property, one of the protections that the state of Florida does put in place is that the value of your property can't increase more than 3%
Yeah, I
in a given
Yeah.
year.
Well, but I mean, last year, I brought 72,000 in portability with me from Columbia. Now it's up to 84, plus with the normal, but still, I'm paying more money, you know, so it's.
Yes, sir.
And I know this probably wouldn't be you guys, I guess it's the property appraiser's office, but, property values is going up again, but I don't know if that's, because right now in Riverwalk, I think there's between 12 and 14 houses been on the market for a while. They ain't sold, so values ain't going up anymore. I think it's starting to slide down, in my opinion, you know.
We may see
Yes,
that
sir.
next year.
So,
We may see that next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Real estate has cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, it's cooled off a lot in our neighborhood, 'cause
Yeah.
them houses been out there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
sir. Okay, you, sir?
I would speak in opposition to any kind of raises in tax value. I would question the deficit in the year 2019, for example. Were we running in a deficit? Since then, property values have gone up. Therefore, you created more revenue without raising taxes. I live on the river and 2/3 of my property is in wetlands, so I can't do anything with it, but you charge me the highest rates. I have the highest value rate, 50,000 an acre, for something I can't do anything with, but look at. I enjoy it, I love it, but, to tell me that 1 acre is worth $50,000 when the neighbors, you know, is worth 20,000 seems a bit, high.
I think that would be something you would need to talk to the property appraiser's office about, the value.
Yes, ma'am.
You would need to speak to Mr. Leggett, David. Okay.
It's definitely. Regardless, I just wanted to voice my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you for coming.
We've tried to lower the millage rate since then. We've lowered it from 9.45, I think, down to K-5, and I
It was
get, I
eight,
understand,
7 to
I understand
8.
it's still up.
Sir?
If no tax change was adopted, it says 7.8.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming.
And, it has, our ad valorem taxes has increased, property values has increased, but so has the cost of everything that we have to fund and supply and all the services that we supply. It goes up every year. Our insurance this year went up 10%.
Our bills went
Yeah,
up.
everything we do, every aspect of everything we do, goes up. And even though there's more houses being built and, property values are going up, there's something there to take it every time. Anybody else from the public like to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is John Shepherd. We just inherited my mother-in-law's property 2 years ago. Last year I had no homestead exemption, or the year before. Now I have homestead exemption, but because they bumped my property value up to $100,000, that $50,000 looks like it's a joke. And now you're talking about raising rates even more.
No, we're talking about lowering it.
We're actually lowering rates.
Well, according to the tax thing you sent me, if with no changes, it's 7 to 8. And you're talking about going 8.5, so there is an increase.
Well, yeah, on your trim notice, it said it said 8.7.
But I
8.7
guess
last
my
year. We've
main,
gone down to 8.5.
my main thing is, that property value in 2 years doubled.
Yeah,
And I've done nothing to that property. It hasn't changed.
I know.
And actually, it hasn't changed out of the family. Yet they show me as buying the property at whatever, 150, I think, and now it's over $212,000. And I'm having a problem with the fact being, what is the county doing for me? As a homeowner out here in Roanoke, I might see the sheriff once in a while out there. He's usually working 26. And that's about it. Yet I'm paying almost a house payment. I'm paying almost $3,000 a year in taxes on a house that's paid off. Almost $4,000. So, I just want to voice my opinion, that rates are going up. And I realize that costs are going up. But the county's not doing anything for me.
Well, we furnish, solid waste, we fund animal control, we fund,
Well, number one,
we
animal
furnish
control is
sheriff
for me.
depart- I know, but we furnish the sheriff department, we furnish the sheriff department, EMS, fire department, all those are.
Tax
funded,
collector,
through the-
Now,
through the
our-
county.
supervisor relations.
Road department.
Is
And
this
as far
your,
as your value going up,
Isn't the services you just talked about, aren't they gonna be MSDU? Or are they in general? fund?
EMS is, yes.
So that's another tax that I'm not even talking about.
is this your, is this homesteaded?
I didn't bring I got homestead.
So you do have homestead, so so it shouldn't have increased more than 3% from last year to this year, correct?
Well, he
No.
said he inherited it, so he didn't own it.
And they reassess it,
Before
Sharon.
that, when you inherit
They
it,
reassess
Okay.
it.
reassess the value of the home,
And,
it's say on the reassessed value, and then from that value, it won't go up more than
That's
3% each year then, from that point.
But
Yeah,
that's
but
the
when you
property.
start talking about
Yeah,
triple the price of what we were paying.
Yeah.
They tripled the price.
yeah.
So now my taxes are gone.
But that's a
And
problem.
unfortunately, I'm retired. All I have is Social Security.
The property
now I'm looking at-
inspector is the one that sets the value of your property, though. We don't do that. We set the millage rate, but we don't set the value of property. So if your value of your property doubled, that would be his guidelines, not ours.
So where do I go? Who do I talk to about that?
Sorry?
The property appraiser?
Yes, sir.
You walk in his office, there ain't nothing we can do for you. I mean, I'm getting in trouble right now. But I'm wanting just to voice my opinion.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
If you're seeing if you're seeing some improvements, it's one thing, but when you're not seeing improvements. And I mean, the only improvements I've seen around our schools, and at 76 years old, I don't feel I should be paying $1,000 in school tax.
that's another problem.
Yep.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second, to approve resolution 2025-21. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
For the record, resolution 2025-21 passes at six
Does
twenty-six.
that need to be a roll call?
That did need to be roll call.
Oh, that's, we gotta
Yeah.
do roll call, don't we? Did you say that, Mr. Clerk?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's revote. Ms. Sharon,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
All right, for the record, it passes at 6:27, 5-0.
All these gonna be roll calls?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All of them except for, I don't believe the other one, fire and solid waste has to be,
Okay,
but
we'll do it anyway. How about that?
absolutely.
We'll be on.
Can't hurt. Next, we have resolution 2025-22. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal years 2025-2026 in the amount of $63,508,471. This is the necessary budget to fund personal services, operating expenses, capital outlay, and reserves for the board. With this, the fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative budget would be adopted. Again, we do need to allow for public comment, and this is required to be passed by roll call.
Okay, do I have a motion?
We gotta have, see if there's any, okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-22.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution 2025-22. I'll open it up for public comment. That's the tentative budget proposal. Pass the budget. Okay. Seeing none, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say.
No, the roll call.
Mr. Sharon,
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the
And I
record,
do want to tell the gentleman, I do sympathize with you on paying taxes, because mine have,
Yeah.
quadrupled for building a house. I guess that's my penalty for building a house, but anyway, I know where you're coming from.
for the record, resolution 2025-22 passes at 6:29 on a 5-0 vote.
Okay.
Next, we have resolution 2025-23. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for municipal services taxing unit, otherwise known as the MSTU, for emergency medical services for fiscal year 2025-2026, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Gilchrist County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the Board of County Commissioners Municipal Servicing Taxing Unit as $1,506,957,263. With this, the fiscal year 2025-2026 operating millage rate is 0.9026 mils, which is equal to the rollback rate. So we need a motion to approve, and again, you need to allow for public comment and vote by roll call.
Yeah, motion to approve resolution 2025-23.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Smith and a second from Commissioner Martin to approve resolution 2025-23, the millage for the MSTU, the millage rate.
And this
And-
is the one that went down.
Yeah, and this was the one that on your trim notice would have said 1.000, and the board is approving the rollback rate, which is lower at 0.9026.
Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, is there any more discussion on resolution 2025-23? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Roll call.
Again. I gotta have it. Commissioner Sharon,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, resolution 2025 23 passes at 6:31 on a 5-0 vote. Next up, we have Resolution 2025-24. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for municipal service taxing unit for emergency medical services for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners Municipal Services Taxing Unit of Gilchrist County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 in the amount of $3,260,414. This provides for the annual budget for EMS and is necessary to fund personal services, operating expenses, capital outlay, and reserves for EMS. With this, the fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative budget would be adopted. And need a motion to approve. Again, you need to allow for public comment, and this does have to be voted by roll call.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-24.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second by Commissioner Kendrick Thomas to approve resolution 2025-24, the budget for the MSTU. Any public comment?
Just, give a clarification if I could. Did some of that money go to fund the Fanning Springs Fire and Rescue they had there?
A portion of it does, yes, sir.
Okay, cause I just, when we go to that meeting, want to find out what in the world they're talking about. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? So y'all actually do some funding at their
much
We
do we
do.
give?
It's a fairly limited amount, to be honest, but, the total amount that we give to Fanning, we actually provide funds for Fanning and Trenton.
Oh, it's around 52,000, I think is what it is.
52,000.
Yes, right. That may not be exact, but it's close.
We give them around
Okay,
50.
okay, but I just want to know. Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Anybody else? Okay, any more discussion on resolution 2025-24? Hearing none. Commissioner Sharon?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
For
Motion
the-
passed.
For the record, resolution 2025-24 passes at 6:33 on a 5-0 vote. Next, we have resolution 2025-25. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, relating to the provision of fire protection services and facilities and collection of special assessments, therefore, in the unincorporated area and certain incorporated areas of Gilchrist County. It's known as the Fire Special Assessment Annual Rate Resolution, establishing the rate of assessment for the fiscal year 2025-2026, setting forth purpose and definitions, making legislative determinations of special benefit and fair apportionment, setting forth a proposed schedule of assessment rates, and approving the assessment roll, and providing an effective date. This is by reading by title only, and this does provide a continuation rate for fire assessment. So there would be no increase from last year.
Motion to pass resolution 2025-25.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution 2025-25, fire special assessment annual rate. Any public comment? Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Sharon,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, resolution 2025-25 passes at 6:35, 5-0. And finally, resolution number 2025-26. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, known as the Solid Waste Annual Rate Resolution, relating to the provision of services and facilities for solid waste and disposal. It establishes the rate of assessment for the fiscal year 2025-2026, imposing service assessment against assessable property located within both the unincorporated and municipal areas of Gilchrist County, approving the service assessment roll, approving an effective date. And this is by reading by title only. And again, this provides a continuation rate for solid waste assessment.
Yeah, motion to approve resolution number 2025-26.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Sharon Langford to approve resolution 2025-26. Any public comment? Any more discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Sheridan,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, that passes at 6:36 on a 5-0 vote. And that concludes our tentative budget hearing.
When is the final budget hearing?
Final budget hearing will be at 5:15 on September 15th.
Yeah, can I make just a real quick comment? I appreciate, all of us appreciate those of you came and made and provided input. Like you, we don't want it to go up. One of the things we tried to do is look at surrounding counties and what it costs per capita for each one of our departments. And when you compare that, we're in the middle or lower rate of what it costs to do some of these things. Now, it doesn't say there's not areas we can't improve in, and we're always looking for suggestions. And so anytime you want to talk about budget and go look at it, if you've got suggestions on where we might be able to cut, I think that's what we want, is input from our residents. So we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, very much.
And we feel the same, you do. We all live here, we all pay taxes. As the gentleman stated here, my mother's 91 and at one time or another, someone in our family will inherit her property and she lives on a spring, and I hate to see what that assessed value of that's gonna be, because it's gonna be a lot. And, so I understand where you're coming from, but that's the way it works. And we did what we could to, reduce the millage rates and still be able to give you the services you expect with ambulance and fire and customer service and everything that we fund. And this is what we came up with. So, but we do appreciate you coming, and we feel with you. All of us pay taxes, but we also want the ambulances to come when we call them, and we want to have a place to dump our trash, and we want to have a place where we can get our tag and our licenses if we want our gun, and we all want a courthouse that we can take care of business with, and a elector's office that runs efficiently, so all those things cost money, and that's the price of doing business. And we do it cheaper than our neighboring counties. We had a study done, our incredibly good budgeting staff did a study, and we are at the bottom end of just about every one of the levels of the surrounding counties around us. I mean, we have done a good job of trying to provide services at a reasonable rate. I'm not saying we were the lowest in every one of them, but I don't think that we were the highest in any of them. So, we're doing what we can, but we do appreciate y'all coming and your concerns, and like I said, we feel with you, but it's,
Part of ownership is.
part of living in Gilchrist County and in the United States. So we thank you for coming though.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can move on to our attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Newton has just handled two that are on my list for resolutions during our tentative budget. I have two other items. One is resolution number 2025-27. It's a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, accepting a loan from Capital City Bank and authorizing the chairman of the Board of County Commissioners to execute a promissory note for $400,000 to Capital City Bank in order to provide financing for 2025 Transportation Fund Equipment Loan. That's reading by title only. The rates that were approved by the board, it was put out for bid. Capital City Bank was the successful low bidder. It's going to be payable in 4 equal annual installments of $92,315.18. One final payment, same amount, except it's a penny more, $92,315.19. Interest rate on the loan is 4.9%. And again, this is to fund equipment, transportation fund equipment. So that's reading by title only.
We shouldn't have passed resolution 2025-27.
Second.
Have a
Yeah.
motion by Commissioner Thomas.
I just wanna state something in the, no, okay,
Hold
excuse
on.
me. No, it's right. I read the wrong thing. You're on B, I was reading A.
Are you
Okay.
checking me?
I have,
That's a good thing.
I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve resolution 2025-27.
And one of the reasons we went and got the loan was because, what was the reason?
Spread it over a period of time so it
Spread it
doesn't
over
take such a
time.
hit.
And
Right.
our return on our investment with our fund balance is a better
Yeah.
way to
Yeah,
save
That's
than
right.
the loan, yeah.
And the fact that our expenses, we had the major, expenses that came up this year with the crusher,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that has taken the transportation.
unanticipated.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, have a motion on the floor to approve resolution number 2025-27. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in
No
favor
public
say aye.
comment.
Sir,
Got any public comment?
any public comment? Good, none, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I have one final thing. Eric Romano, the attorney for the board for the opioid litigation case that's going on, has requested that, the board approve and authorize you as chairman to sign a participation form. They've reached settlement with 8 other manufacturers on the opioid litigation. So we need to get that done, and I'll treat it like I did last time, send everything over to Karen, she gets Richard, they have to do some kind of link and login deal and, get that forwarded on. It has to be done by October 1st, so we need to go ahead and take care of that tonight.
Need to make a motion to.
Need a motion to approve the chairman enter into the participation agreement.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second for motion for Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the, open
Okay,
settlement agreement. And any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Aye.
Kendrick voted against it. It's 4-1. Just for the record, that is, those 8 are Alvogen, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Mylon Sun, and Zydus. They're all, in agreement with the settlement proceedings. They were manufacturers of opioids, and you all know the history. This thing's been pending for quite a long time. Slowly winding down to a conclusion, I think.
Good.
That's all I have, Mr.
That's
Chairman.
all you have? Okay, Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item on my report is a budget recap. This budget recap is through August 27th, and that's approximately 91% of the year completed. In the general fund, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $27,158,000 on revenues of $22,338,000. We do have some anticipated revenues that have not been booked yet that we would expect to come in prior to the end of the year, or potentially just after the year that would be booked into this year. In fire, had year-to-date expenditures of right at 1.2 million on revenues of just over 1.7 million. In transportation, we've had year-to-date expenditures of just over 2.9 million on revenues of a little under 2.3 million. We anticipate that the transportation fund is potentially going to exceed its budget, and we will probably have to bring that back for a budget amendment in the future.
Now, is there a reason why we're exceeding the budget? Is it overtime or what's the?
No, they're actually in personnel, they're actually below, they're slightly below
Okay.
budget in transportation. So it really comes down to the excess expenditures.
So the rock crusher, was that not?
The rock crusher is a big part of that, yes.
That's a big part of it.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, that was a lot.
absolutely. And, yeah, so again, the expenditures are it's not even so much the fact that they're gonna exceed the revenues, it's that it's actually gonna exceed the budget, that we have approved, so, that will require us to do an amendment. Same thing in EMS, at this point, we would anticipate that we're probably going to, exceed budget. We've had year-to-date expenditures of $2,415,000 on revenues of almost 3 million. So the good news in this one is our revenues have actually exceeded our expenditures as opposed to in transportation. So the good news is it hasn't actually cost more than what was brought in. However, we do anticipate that we'll exceed the budgeted amount.
So is there a reason why we exceeded it, the budget amount?
In
Okay.
EMS, it was in personnel. I want to say
I thought we budgeted to hire additional personnel to run that.
we did, and when you look at EMS versus fire and where fire is, part of the challenge in this was when we budgeted last year, the additional personnel, we budgeted those as 50-50 staff. In hiring, what ended up occurring was they were not able to hire staff that were certified fire. And so those staff got hired as 100% EMS. And that's part of the reason that it has exceeded, whereas fire, as you can see, is well under budget. So it's really partly a shift in where the costs are occurring because of the staff that was hired, and they were not able to get those dual certified. Right. So what's happened now is your personnel has exceeded budget in EMS, whereas you see savings in fire. So your personnel is low in fire, but it's high in EMS. And, so, that's part of the issue, is what's occurred. We've also had, some overtime that's helped to, make, EMS exceed, but I think the primary is the fact that those additional staff that were added on ended up going 100% fire or 100% EMS versus 50-50 fire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In solid waste, year-to-date expenditures, just over $1 million, at $1,040,000 versus revenues of just over 1.3 million. Any additional questions on that? Next up, we have the LISA grant agreement with the state of Florida, and FDLE. This is the state funding that we receive in order to help fund additional salaries for law enforcement. And as we've discussed earlier in the year, that amount has increased to $601,256.
It wasn't about 485 or something like that.
It was,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So it had a pretty good increase this year. This agreement is actually, it actually started in July because the state fiscal year is what it runs on. And so that's actually that's also going to require a budget amendment to be coming because we had budgeted based on the 400 and something thousand. That's actually already started this fiscal year. And so we're going to have to amend the budget based on that last quarter increase.
But that's a good amendment.
That is a good amendment. Yeah, we'll take those. But I do need approval. I need to have this ratified. We actually, because of some timing issues, we actually had to go ahead and get this signed by the chairman. So I need to get this ratified so that we can get this sent off.
Does this need to be non-pro tunc to a prior date?
I would say it would be, yes, sir. August 25th.
Not pro tunc.
I move to approve of the award agreement, award number LG 009.
Okay.
You need to ratify it back to August the,
And ratify it back to August
25th.
25th.
We have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve the award for LG 009 for law enforcement salary assistance for physically constrained counties in amount of $601,256 and ratify it back to the date of August the 25th, 2025. That's okay? Perfect. That make you happy, Sheriff? We're happy, you're happy, right?
Yeah.
I tell my wife the same thing.
You're happy on that.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Well, this will be another one of those things we want to make sure, and the governor and the legislators that support these funding to small counties is critical. And so anytime we get an opportunity to thank them and tell them how important it is, we do that. So I know we all do that.
That'd be a good estimate until the governor don't amend it no more.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Somebody's gonna be here after.
I really anticipated for them to cut it instead of adding to it, but I'm tickled to death that they added to it.
Todd, when you get packaged up to send in this, would you tell them or ask them to please correct a typo on Tommy's name on the recipient chief official line? I know he's already signed it. You're gonna date it August 25th, but they got him Lanford, Lenford.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay.
Okay, we got a motion, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Next item on my report is, it's that time of the year for us to basically agree to population estimates that the University of Florida has produced that we don't necessarily agree with, but we don't really have a great way to challenge. As we know in the past, we've attempted to challenge it in the past, and it was a lot of wasted time and effort. So I'm requesting that the board agree to the population estimates, so we can get this sent off tomorrow.
Todd, what do you think they base it on? I mean, you've gotta have some type of criteria to say,
So
building permits or electrical hookup, or there's
Electrical-
gotta be some.
electrical utilization is actually what they base theirs on, was one of their big factors. We actually tried using Duke Energy and Central Florida data to combat their number.
Mhm.
And in doing so, they challenged, they contacted Duke and CFEC, and then we got different numbers from them. And so I was like, I don't quite understand this, but they utilize the power companies, power utilization
Mhm.
as one of their key factors.
Then they have a household formula they use,
Correct.
an average per household.
Right, yeah, basically the number of houses that are being powered, and then they take that number and they basically multiply it by the number of estimated people
Average
in a
household,
household. Yeah, the average household number.
And their bottom line is 18,935.
So their bottom line is 18,935, which does not include inmate population. No,
What are the two sheets attached? The sheet immediately preceding that, it says 15,529.
that is the unincorporated area. So that's basically everybody in the county.
Okay,
The other number is total population, including all the municipalities.
okay. And this was produced by the University of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Well, I should suspect as much.
Right? That's what I said.
But, I just presented y'all with a different number that was done by the ad valorem data tax book, Florida Department of Revenue, and also the Florida Estimates of Population for 2024, which is a different number than what the University of Florida's come up with.
Correct.
That was over 20,000. You had.
I don't quite
Yeah.
understand it.
Well, and if you look on the Chamber of Commerce site, they have a higher number.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to have a
Yeah.
higher number. We tend to agree that it's a higher number.
But no one, but they
But yet it always comes back to, and again, without some sort of data that supports a different number,
you're stuck with it.
you're stuck
And
with
your
it.
revenue sharing is based on that.
Yeah, but if I took last year's number and I took how many houses was built in Gilchrist County and put my family of 4 in there, or however, whatever number they use, I could come up with a more accurate number than,
Yeah.
The number they use is less than three. I don't remember what it was, but it's not even an even number. It's like a 2.87.
Yeah, it's like 2.83 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's not, but I tried to forget all that after Todd and I got.
Didn't y'all try to challenge that last
Yeah.
year?
We fought hard and went down in flames. It was terrible.
Yeah. We shut it down. I didn't stand the chair.
It was,
We did have fair shoes up in here.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
That's right.
okay, we need a motion to accept the, official.
Motion to accept the population.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second from Commissioner Bill Martin to accept the official population estimates of 18,935 for April the 1st of 2025. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay,
and that concludes my report.
okay, we'll go to our commissioner reports. Commissioner Sharon,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Smith,
No, sir.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I had a lot of people approach me at a football game about, an
Thank God.
incident where a player was hurt and they said it took over 30 minutes for an ambulance to get out there. Was there an unforeseen, run, and were they out of town? Were they already in Gainesville, or is it just happened to be a real bad time for someone to get hurt?
Well, first off, it's a football game and you always got a good chance of getting somebody getting hurt. But it was an 18-minute response.
So everybody talked to me like it was a 30-minute response.
Well,
So
we have the time it was dispatched, recorded in CAD, and we have the time that we arrived. That was 18 minutes. It was in Trenton. Our Trenton area unit was on the way to Gainesville with another patient, and we had to respond from Bell. So they came from Bell to here within
Does it-
18 minutes.
Kevin helped coach football?
No.
Oh, he don't, okay.
But this was middle school ball,
Okay.
yeah. But,
it was just something people mentioned to me, and I just wanted to bring it before.
no, it was mentioned, I don't remember what night it was on, but I was talking about it the next day, and that's it, you know, it's from, somebody's got a call, a lot of people say, well, they got hurt and it was 30 minutes. Time he got hurt, it might have been 30 minutes, but until we get a call and they page us out, we can't respond, we don't know. So
And 15 minutes feels like 30 minutes.
it does. I've had to call an ambulance before to a family member, and it's an eternity when that's going on. And I understand that. I'm not belittling that, but the actual response time was 18 minutes. Yeah.
The only other response I had is, and I have not been out there to see it run, so this is just something I wanna put out there. But the road that runs by Philman Farm, the one that runs between where Philman's farm is, and you go around, you go up a hill, it seems to have an irrigation gun there that helps wash that road out. Is it turned off so it doesn't do that, or are we washing the road out every time he runs that pivot around? If it is, we might wanna mention upgrading the technology so that it doesn't wash our road out every time, cause I've just had a lot of complaint about a hole there over and over and over, so you gotta come up.
Come up here, David.
It does wash that road out. I have mentioned it a couple of times, and yeah, it's, something that is an issue. Get around that curve, you go back around the curve, it's sprayed across all the time across there, so. I don't know, I guess it's still, I don't know exactly who it is, but it does spray across there.
Can they put an end cap on those guns?
They can cut them in pivot guns off, like actually shut them in pivot guns off and spray straight down and put the rest of the other pivots there.
Has anybody
They have
called?
the ability to do that.
Anybody called the Philmans and asked them? I've done them a couple of times and they've been pretty responsive, so.
Yeah,
they might-
I haven't called personally, no, I have not called, so.
And I don't know that the pivot's washing it out, but it happens right there where the pivot sprays on the road, so, I mean, you grade the road today, and you do a great job grading it, and that pivot turns around and washes that road out, we got a ditch there, so maybe we could mention to the Philmans, and I know they're the people who operate and know how to program those pivots could actually program it so it would shut off at a certain time and then kick back on when it's not where that road is. So something we might wanna mention to them and see if we can get something done about it. Save y'all a lot of work and save a lot of people from having to call us, you know,
Yes, sir.
so. Thank you, appreciate it.
David, we
Stay up
appreciate,
there, David,
yeah.
stay up there.
Oh, no.
The comment this man made earlier about the road getting graded 4 times in 1 year, and I don't believe that.
I don't
And
even know.
I'm hoping that y'all got records to prove them.
They do.
We keep pretty good records.
And y'all send us an email and let us know how many times it's gotten graded?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That way I won't have to call Rodney.
I know you two, we know when it was graded, who graded it, how many loads of rock been on
I
there.
think I can safely say these roads gets graded more than 4 times a year already.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can safely say that, and we talked about it yesterday, but it's an ongoing battle of these roads. I mean, one month it's dry, next month it's wet, so we do the best we can do with what we got, and, a lot of people appreciate it, and like I say, you can't make everybody happy. So, I mean, we do the best we can.
Well, they
We
don't,
appreciate what you do,
Yeah.
it's just,
I got no complaints with the road department, I think y'all.
I back y'all up when I can too.
they don't realize we have records to prove otherwise.
We appreciate it, and like I said, I think they do keep pretty good records there at the road department there, so I'm sure it can be pulled up tomorrow and be emailed to you.
Had to use those records before.
Yeah.
Cause people
That's-
said we didn't
that's
grade.
our-
We did.
That's our church road.
Yeah.
You know, as we all know, and that's
That's when the guy took his own tractor, went down through there and cut ruts in the road. That's what they're talking about.
There's some people down there, if they don't see somebody, they be calling me.
yeah, I will, you're right.
And that is gonna be one of the roads we are gonna zip. We
Yeah.
talked about that. We are gonna start it one day next week, the week after that. We are gonna zip that road
Good.
all the way down to 112.
And you're gonna call me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. That's it, that's the end of my report.
Appreciate you being here, David.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas,
That was it.
you ain't got nothing?
That was it.
I don't really have anything either. I know Gay Road really looks good. Every time I ride down it, I just,
Think about Dixie Green.
yeah.
Think about Dixie Gray.
This is coming. I talked to, Ryan yesterday, last night. Gilchrist coming along. Bobby knows as much as I do or more. But, hopefully, we'll see something there real soon. And it won't be soon enough. But anyway, we'll get it done. I don't have anything else. Anybody have anything else? Public participation. You always have an opportunity at the end of the meeting for public participation. Anybody have anything?
Motion adjourned.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank y'all for coming.
Y'all have a good night.